Welcome back to another episode of Fear the Old Lord, Bloodborne Unpatched, everyone. It's nice to see you guys again. Derek, Mathota, Gotta Mortis, and Mega Blair. Hope you're all doing pretty well. So yesterday we mostly went through the Chalice dungeons. We took a brief excursion to the Lecture Hall and the Nightmare Frontier, and we kind of just skipped through most of the Nightmare Frontier, and at the beginning of this episode I want to go back, look at the patches thing, and I'm pretty sure we can pick up the Cold Blood Flower Buds from there as well. So we're just going to head back to the Nightmare Frontier for now. Where we had finished off last time was the Central Tumaru 3, or is that lower? The third Tumerian Chalice, and we got beaten up by Rama a little bit, and I could have tried a bit more, but it's just a little bit annoying. So we're going to go back to the main story for now, partly for two reasons. To get like more chunks to level up the weapon, and it'll just be easier that way. Copy to pasty. Welcome back in, Phobos. Quick question: how many of those streams do you think are left? It's kind of hard to say, just because of judging the Chalice dungeons. I do want to go through all of them, get to Yharnam, and I also want to go to Tumaru Isle's Root Chalice and pick up like the Ring of Betrothal to show. Oh yeah, I meant to switch out my my gem to show off like how Annalise reacts to the marriage natively within the streams themselves. So we skipped the two hunter dudes. We still have like the Lauren Silver Beasts just chilling about. So this time we're going to show off patches, and I'm going to go through like a little bit of the swamp and pick up some of the items. Probably get clapped by a winter lantern. Some more fire, tempering, okay. And I was looking at some of the drop tables, and that was also part of the reason to go back to the main game, just because I think the Celestial Emissaries in the woods might give me a few decent gems worth putting on the Saw Cleaver, and then I could also start using like the actual papers for my arcane build instead of just relying on the one gem, if we get decent gems, but yeah. Grisester, welcome in. It's been a while. Finally managed to catch the stream. This is the Wandering Madness that I pointed out that got away from us because we got ganked by the hunters that we were trying to avoid. So this time around we do get to see Patches chilling. The black version, I think in the cutscene he's always like a red spider, but the one that appears there tends to be black. Derek says, so after beating Lawrence and revisiting the other parts of the Old Hunters DLC, you can't help but feel the tone of those fights is different to the main game, they all seem. Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. I mean, except for like the Living Failures, the DLC fights are a lot better. Now, I'm sure like that's not what you're trying to say, but they do have like a different pacing overall. Probably just because they're maybe higher quality to a certain degree. I don't know. So if I remember correctly, there's also a note that Patches leaves around here that's kind of hard to pick up on. Is that the note? Yeah, okay. So it's really easy to trigger the actual cutscene and miss what this note says. This way to witness a miracle. Am I recording this? Yeah, I do want to record this note though, so let me switch out my set to just the default one. Just for the sake of the footage. Because a lot of people miss this. I've missed it quite a few times. Like, I don't think I even would have noticed this had I not seen it, like, written down in some files. So I wanted to show off that before getting kicked by Patches down the hole. Lower tumor, thank you. Oh, sorry. You said you can't help that the fights feel different because they share a theme of tragedy in the DLC. Yeah, that's kind of true, especially with, like, the whole beasthood outlook on things. Yeah, I don't really want to come down here, but for a little bit of the lore, even though we're doing like a little bit more bridge things. Every DLC boss is a victim of something or standing in the way. Are silver beasts who became... Or sorry, are the silver beasts Temerians who became beasts? That's a good question. They are called the Loran silver beasts, so they're probably from Loran. But whether the Loranites were Temerian is a good question. Alright, Phobos, you might have to do some other projects. That's totally fine. I do intend to actually stream on the weekends this time around. So there... I would assume there's probably at least 5 total. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, to be honest, because I usually also did the DLC, which took up time too. So I could be wrong with my estimates. I'm not going to worry about the Winter Lantern over there, because it's just guarding the messenger gift. The one that allows us to turn into messengers. We showed off a little bit of the crawlers. They drop thick cold bloods. Mega Blair says, Silver Beasts have sideways mouths, just like the baby in the Yharnam Stone. I don't know if the Yharnam Stone's mouth is sideways, but at the very least, it's kind of the same as like the Celestial Larvae. I just got pranked. Grisester said, could I try to create a root chalice next time I'm in the dream? You added that on 1.0, you can't access them offline, and that would typically... Oh, yeah. So, pretty sure you could do root ones. Maybe... Oh, cool. Okay. We'll see. Because that would ruin my plans to get the Ring of Betrothal. Right, so the flower bud should be here. Oh, he hits that. Might get clapped real quick. Hey, and we avoided the poison for now. I should probably heal up to full before dealing with this lantern. But yeah, so right now my ability to make the arcane rifle spear is severely impacted just because I can't use the glyphs so much. Oh god. Oh god. I'm gonna die. Too much insight. I really should have healed the full. Because I was just a little bit too low on that HP. Picked up some almonds to munch on during the stream. Thank you, very thematic. And also welcome back, Joseph. Didn't want to disappear without saying like you did last time, because who knows? I mean, don't worry about it. I do appreciate the heads up, for sure. I mean, sometimes life gets in the way, sometimes it doesn't. But I do appreciate the... what's the word? Care? Courtesy. There we go. F. Need that Jura set for the resistance. Oh, yeah. What am I wearing? We don't even have the Jura set, but definitely not the foreign garb. Can he get me in here? Oh, close. So is it just going to be like the normal hunter set, essentially? Alright, so we'll do a little bit better this time against the lantern. Maybe we'll get an okay gem. I don't think the ones in this map drop anything decent. Oh, but I do want to get the Wandering Madness down here. Where is it? Hey, okay. Get a few more chunks. Something's getting poisoned over there. Fancy cold blood, not that big a deal. So I thought about streaming only on this weekend, all weekends. Oh, so I was just thinking of just like streaming every day until the run completes. That's a fair question. I don't think I've said anything about it, so... It'll be at the same time slot, though. So, I'll try to be consistent in that regard, at least. Oh, we got poisoned again. Grisester says, without root chalices, you'd only be able to get to the triangle gem with flat arcane without relying on out-of-shape drops. Yeah, so if we can't access any root gems, that will be kind of disastrous for that plan. At the very least, like, we're still kind of sticking around with the Saw Spear for the arcane run. So, like, we do have alternatives, but nothing game-breaking. So it looks like the lanterns can't pick up the echoes in this game, or this version of the game. Oh, we still iframed through it. Definitely gonna get frenzied though. And in this game, like, the sound is still messed up, and the sometimes the spears can stay in the air. Cursed Adept. Okay, let's check that one out. Definitely not for this build. Speedrun Eyes and Farm, 8 LMAOs for the Arcane Gem. Yeah. So that's also another one of the big reasons to go back to the story chalices, or to the main story, not the chalices, just to get access to Eyes. But of course we'd have to fight Ebritus. Oh god. QS bullets, not really worth. I think there's some more cold blood flower buds down here, which is why I've come down to this hellhole. And maybe a rune. I don't fully remember. Damn, it's super loud. I think there's one more lantern in this spot. I might be misremembering. No, there's just 3 in this area total, so we got 2 of them, and then the third one's over where Patch has kicked us down. And one of the coolest things about, like, coming down here is, like, seeing all the illuminated flowers. I think they're supposed to be cold blood flowers. There's got to be a hunter with as much HP as it's had. It's like above me. Those iframes? Nightmare Frontier is probably a twisted version of Loran. Yeah. You don't know if it's PS5 or not, but you notice the direction and sound is extreme. Like, if someone's talking, you turn slightly, you barely hear them. So that was always kind of how it was in 1.0. I don't think it's necessarily the PS5, but they had a lot of sound issues early on. Like, it used to be... I'm pretty sure, like, if you tried to adjust the sound while in the game itself, like, it gets... warped. Okay, this is the way I wanted to go. Oh. Hidden Cold Blood. Pretty sure that just killed one of the other hunters. Don't know if we got the echoes though. Are those wilting lumenwood flowers? You've never noticed those before. So I do believe that they are lumenwood flowers. There's not anything explicit calling them that, but I also think that lumenwood flowers are cold blood flowers. Oh. In the Great Deep Sea. So it looks like there isn't any more flower buds down here. Maybe after you pick up some, you can buy more. Because I don't know how else to get them other than, like, the chalice runs then. Okay. Follow the path where the hunters... Was the bar really charging that entire time? I thought I was on safe ground. The howl sounded like the smoke monster from Lost. Welcome in, Brad Beck. Iframes. You wonder if eyes on the inside idea is related to how the cross-section and anatomy of a brain appears to resemble an eye, like the eye of Horus. I think that's also related to like the pineal gland, and I think that might even be next to the amygdala. I don't really remember the anatomy of a brain. Let me rephrase that. I never really learned the anatomy of the brain super well, so I could just be ill-informed. So let's finish that from here. I'm trying to think if there's any other spots for cold blood flower buds in this area. I would need to like look at a guide or something, which I'm not gonna do. So we have a small amount of echoes. We showed off the patches thing, picked up some of the flower buds. So let's just finish this area off for now, and then we'll go buy some like blood vials, because I'm sure I'm really low now with the chalices and all that. There's the flower blood inside the tunnel where there are 3 giants. So that's probably where... Inside the tunnel with the 3 giants. Oh, okay. So probably up top.
Welcome. Very well. Farewell.
Oh yeah, and one of the other reasons to do the main story stuff is to eventually get like a call beyond, and the other things related to that. All right, so let's go in the big tunnel. Because I think I know what you're talking about. And I forgot to switch my gem. I thought about it, I was like, didn't I need to do that? And I was like, no, I didn't pick up anything new. It's that I wanted to switch back to fire. Trying to not make it go over the cliff. Well, I guess we did get some more of the fire gems from these lower end silver beasts, but overall. It's next to a wall, we've got to go up via the ramp. Hey, that might be useful. It's always weird to me how there's the different tiers of the blood gems, and that like the one that I just picked up said 2, but I'm sure the actual quote-unquote rarity scaling of it is probably going to be higher than 2. Yeah, so it's a 7. And allegedly in earlier versions of the game, like the rarity would be related to giving the gems to Archibald, who would talk about like eating them or something like that. Hey Brad Beck, thank you for the 5. Thanks for the welcome. You watched a lot of the videos, first time to live stream though. Well, thank you very much. Glad you're able to make it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so with the blood gems and Archibald, he would have like talked about their smell and he would have wanted to eat them. So it's kind of related to the Willem quest line that got cut, potentially with like getting eyes and stuff like that. So now we should be able to get the item. There's no more patches. Oh, wait, no, patches is still here. Does this kick us down again? No? Okay. Hey, okay, 1 flower blood. So we just need 1 more. I think there's another rune up here that I just forget about. Oh, this is a really good one. Okay. How could I ever forget that? Alright, that's going in the permanent memory bank right there. Buy 2 spears, 1 set for fire and 1 for bolt. That's not a bad idea. I just do need the upgrade materials, though. The 1/6 near the gem's name corresponds to the image. The higher the number, the bigger and more detailed the gem. Yeah, and it does kind of correlate with the rarity slightly. Like the, obviously, the better the image, the bigger the gem, and the bigger the gem, the more rare it'll be. But thank you for the more concise answer. I appreciate that. So those ones over there are around a thick cold blood, or is this another kin cold blood? Pretty sure it's a thick cold blood. Which to me suggests, since we can get so much thick cold blood from these things, that they consume blood. Because that's kind of what they were doing here. And I also think that they might eat like bad man's knowledges, or not man, the wandering madnesses, and that's why we get like the messengers inside them essentially. Stunning deep sea. Okay, that was the rune that I was thinking of. That isn't too important. So maybe I do need to go by the Winter Lantern, because I think that guy has antidotes. That's another sea rune. And that one wasn't too important. No, that's the sea rune. That's some random item. Whatever. I just don't fully remember. There could be the flower bud by like all the crawlers down where Patches would kick us. I just forget. Because normally I would skip this, because if you've done the Chalice dungeons once, you've done them 1,000 times, you know? And this is actually like my third foray through all of them. It's kind of a lot. What even are they? The Dream Natives? They kind of remind you of Koss. So, yeah, they do really look like Mother Koss. I've wondered if Mother Koss is related to a crawler or something like that. I think they're potentially creatures that might be native to the nightmares. Oh, we're going to get the hunters this way. Oh, yeah. We're going to get the hunters this way, aren't we? And then... Oh, could it be by the, where the Bell Maiden would be? No, okay. Damn it, he saw me. That's not good. Alright, let's go get our other, like, lake rune, since these bastards are chasing me. Then I might just, like, warp out. There's the madman, but it'll be a tiny one. And only give the bloodstone shards. Fading Lake. Go through the tunnel in front of where the Bell Maiden is? Oh, so the one with the... Okay. I figured that it would have to be around there, since that's like the only place we haven't fully checked. Alright. So is it on a body in this area? Oh yeah, with the 3. Okay. Yeah, you totally did say the 3 dudes. I just didn't want to believe it. I thought about coming in the other way. I was gonna say, I should probably heal. If for no other reason that I... Oh, okay, okay. Then I know the hunters are gonna chase me. That's not it. This is fine, guys. Outside the tunnel? So it's... Oh, we could have just gone through the shortcut. Did I miss it? Up here? So the Wandering Madness. Interesting. All right. Oh yeah, I have a gun. I can just parry these things. YOLO! Damn it. R1 spam? Okay. Once you get these things, like the Hunter NPCs, like on a wall or something, you can just R1 spam and then switch over to the L1 or the L2 with the gun while you recover some stamina. That's typically how I just cheese a lot of the hunters. So even though it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of skill involved in that, it does kind of work. Right, so, is it in this tunnel? We drop down that way. That thing's down there. How did that miss? Okay. Not this one. Yeah, I figured not. Just got chased by everything in the world, though. Okay, so this serrated damage on the R2 just kills things a lot easier with this weapon. Interesting. Okay. I never really looked down here, so I'm just gonna... So this is where you'd like the opposite way, where you'd get kicked down by patches, and the Winter Lantern would be under us then. So it's kind of cool to show off like Wandering Madnesses from a distance, because they kind of like breathe smoke, mist. We can hear Murgo a little bit crying in the background. Weird thought, these Loran Silver Beasts, do we think they're the actual same ones from Loran, or have they been living, dying, and reproducing in the dream? Those are all good questions, and I really don't know. I like to think of these ones as being separate from the ones. Oh, okay, is that it? Up this ramp. I just remember this item being insignificant, but apparently it's not. Okay, well now I know. Alright, so that's pretty much everything from the Nightmare Frontier except for the one Winter Lantern guarded messenger gift, which is not worth... I guess there is the big... Will this fall kill me? Okay, let's... YOLO. Give me those chunks. I didn't realize it had like a spitting type attack. It only gave me twins? Okay, we can see the Winter Lantern in the distance over there. So, let's just zoom out. Oh god. Seriously? That sucks. I was too nonchalant about that. Take the plunge, you won't die. Are my feet as fat as my wits? Apparently. If anything, maybe skinnier. Well, I did just accidentally kick my dog in the face with my feet right now. Feel bad, I didn't know she was right under me. Charles Q. Banks, welcome in. Greetings, sir. Your lore videos are your favorite Bloodborne videos on YouTube, and you love the delicious insights you're able to give with my impeccable logic. I don't know if my logic's impeccable, but thank you very much for the compliments. And also, welcome into the stream. No items. That's unfortunate. It says 70, but that has to be broken. I think my damage meter is off because that like took half of his HP. I've noticed that for a while now. It's just weird. Does it have my echoes? Can they pick up echoes? Okay, no. There we go. UI bugs in your unpatched run? Surely not. Okay, here we go. Wait, does the Bolt Hunter's mark? Yeah, I guess it must restore HP. I just remember it not restoring vials and bullets then. Okay.
Welcome, what it? Very well. Farewell, may you find your worth in the waking world.
I pressed X too many times apparently. Maybe repair and switch out the gems, because I almost forgot about that again right now. Okay, so we got some physical ones. That's kind of good. So what's that? Okay, so 195. I guess I could switch that out. Okay. Oh yeah, that'll be better, period. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Oh yeah, and we could upgrade. More CD? No, we're gonna go through the Forbidden Woods. We might actually get a decent gem from one of the ALMAOs and kill Real Ram and then face Chalice Ram for the fun of it. Forbidden Woods. I don't think we even bothered to see the password gatekeeper. Oh yeah, and there's Alfred we could talk to. We could always visit Alfred later, though. I forgot to equip the rune. And Grizzester just reminded me, thank you. Do I really want to go back right now? No, we should. I mean, we're pretty over leveled for the Forbidden Woods, I think. We'll see. Okay, 2 hits. That's pretty good. I haven't picked up the messenger's weapons, leaving those poor boys hanging. We got one set of the hats, I think. I just never gave them to them. This really was not my plan. I just, didn't plan. Oh yeah, I dropped vials. I have too few to just ignore them at this point. You're adding Firebolt gems to the Saw Spear, the physicals don't help at all. Yeah. I do like the blue numbers, though. I'm not going to worry about the trash too much. I'm just going to get like the more important items. I guess I didn't pick up the white set either, so that'll remain where it is. Trying to get those things killed by their friends. The woods, good luck. Welcome in, Kerm. I mean, I really don't mind the woods. I seem to not mind areas that everybody else hates. Like, Valley of Defilement, the only part that was really annoying to me was the place that had the 4 club-wielding bastards. But other than that, and just kind of not being able to roll in the swamp, I didn't mind it. Damn it. So where did people live in the woods, or are they on the hunt? I think a little bit of both. I don't necessarily think these... Wow, holy crap. I wonder if they nerfed that. Because even the Chalice Undead Giant one seemed larger range than I remembered, and that one seemed worse. I mean, I could be wrong. I just don't try to screw around with the cannons too much. So yeah, going back to that question, I don't necessarily think these guys are out on the hunt as much as like protecting this place. Oh, I was out of stamina. I feel like such a Dark Souls boomer when I say that now, when playing Bloodborne. Because that was essentially my motto or catchphrase playing through Dark Souls Remastered in Dark Souls 3, because I was playing HUDless. Alright, so I realize I'm getting my train of thought distracted. Actually, I want to see if the moon's still not visible over Byrgenwerth. Yep. This is one of my favorite things to point out. When we look over the canvas of Byrgenwerth from this angle, there's no moon. Wait a second. There it is, over Yharnam. So, I like to think that the moon by Byrgenwerth might be a lie caused by Ram or something else, but no matter how you try to think of it, it just doesn't really work. Methota says, you assume they're on the hunt? You mean beasts in the woods makes sense, and clearly there's kinds of village here, so they might be trolling their homes. Oh yeah, I don't think I finished my thought, unfortunately. With this area in particular, it seems like they're doing more illicit research, because we get like the beast blood pellets and all that stuff. I don't really intend to fight the suspicious beggar right now. I'm just going to have him transform and then run away. And then if/when I ever do get the broken arcane rifle spear going, I'll come back and try to finish him off. But if we leave him alone, I know he despawns when the red moon appears, but I don't know if that happens if we aggro him.
Have you got a screw loose? Or is it your animal intuition? It doesn't even matter.
Wait,
You hunters have got
is that
more
different?
blood on your hands.
He almost fell off. Okay, he broke free. Oh no, get out of there. That was kind of dangerous. I didn't know if the fall was going to kill me. Okay. I thought he said... I didn't think he said it doesn't even matter. I mean, I might be misremembering. But I wanted to show that off. Did we kill the snake dude? Yeah, okay. And I think I interrupted my train of thought again, so I apologize. So the beast blood pellets, we can get a few of them here. Are large medicinal pellets supposedly formed of coagulated beast blood, banned by the healing church due to their unclear origin. Grants a spirit of beasthood. Ripping apart the flesh of one's enemies and being rained upon by their splattering blood invigorates one's sense of beasthood, feeding strength and euphoric feeling alike. So, because we can pick up some beast blood pellets as well as some blue elixirs in this area, I guess they might be in the houses and I didn't bother to pick them up. It seems like the healing church knows what's going on here, and this is where they do the illicit research, because that would just tie into the church garb that I didn't pick up. So kind of regretting that. And when we come out here, rather than things that you'd expect to be on the hunt with hunters, we get scarecrows of what look to be hunters. I don't necessarily think these would frighten beasts. I think they're meant to frighten people with their shoes on top. There we go. Blood vials. They did turn around some areas, yeah. And Grizester's right. In one of the photos that was taken of like the London art exhibit of Bloodborne or whatever it was, there was like a developer note to like rotate one of the maps, like 15 or 45 degrees, and it was like the Forbidden Woods. So that could have just spent a bit of the developer oversight between Byrgenwerth and the Forbidden Woods getting shifted around. And since we're in the 1.0 game, we don't have Vaulter because we don't have the DLC content, obviously. Charles never noticed. Scary crows, we got our shortcut unlocked. I forget what items over here because it's not worth it. Antidotes. Actually, I guess they're okay. Riding snakes. You gotta admit the snaky parts of the woods are by far your least favorite parts of this game. You're always lost down here. I mean, I've played through the game and gone through the woods so much at this point, I don't really get too lost. I mean, I get turned around in like one section, but for me, it's just kind of about like identifying landmarks and going in a specific direction at a time. So we can't really go down here, but you can also, like, this doesn't really lead to anything, but you can kind of like make out in the distance certain sections of the map, but it's not super helpful. So my general tip for like new players and the way that I typically would approach it, and the way that I did approach it on my first playthrough, let's go up there though, hold on, is to just kind of like follow one direction as far as you can and then just keep that direction the same relative to you. Wait a second. Let's jump. There's going to be a dissector over here. What? Is he not in this version? Is he just stomping? Oh, there he is. Oh, wait. Scripted. I was definitely late on that. I forgot they could just headbutt like that. That's kind of cool. Okay. Striking blood gemstone. Interesting. So yeah, I just go this way, like the further straight that I can at first, and then I keep like the lake type area to my right. So I just go straight, then you turn left and go straight, and then you turn left when you can't go straight anymore, and then that'll get you towards like where the pigs are and the river that leads towards the shadows of Yharnam. Or if you go backwards from that river, it'll lead into the second shortcut elevator area. No Bucket King? Did catch LP? They changed the suspicious beggar dialogue. You had to look it up. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have known that too much if I like didn't make a video specifically devoted to him. So now I'm upset that I didn't actually record that footage. Or did I? Let me look. No, I definitely didn't. You actually like the woods? That's just you. You think the atmosphere is pretty cool, and you get to see a less developed part of the world. I think it fits in. Like, the only reason why I think people like it less is just because the shadows of Yharnam don't really feel super connected to this area. The snakes aren't set up super well, and it just, as far as like the lore, it just doesn't mesh as well together. They could have made it work a bit better, but they didn't, so that's kind of their fault. So yeah, as I said, like you get like the lake over to your right, and you go as far straight as you can. But I will kind of, yeah, I mean I'll deviate in a little bit just to do what I was gonna try to do originally. Adept Blood? That's not bad. Murky Blood, that's going to be like a poison style. Right. And so that's the drop. And then up in the next section, we'll get like the giant snake balls again. And there's going to be like a lake rune over here. Actually, I don't know how this works against them. Okay, that's going to be useful. For like the two that are like clumped together. I think there's another rune by them. I don't remember which one. Murky Deep Sea. So that's for poison as well. Laseri, welcome back in. Okimin, welcome. You like the giant tombstones? Yeah. You just keep the main path in the general middle section, then you explore the side areas, and you just go towards the middle when you want to continue. So one of the other things that I think might have been alluded to in one of the Yamagiwa's interviews is in certain sections of the game they had to add more lanterns to make the paths more visible. So that might have just been for like the NPCs at windows. But the same is true for the Forbidden Woods. Like if you stay on like the main path, the kind of straight way forward through everything is lit up by lanterns and things like that. So I'll show that off maybe as well. So one of the things that I like to do in the Forbidden Woods is kind of show what's on the back of the gigantic tombstones. These could be nothing, but I think they also resemble like the slugs, invertebrates that you see in things like the Augur of Abritus, or even the Madman's Knowledges, or Pearl Slugs, which we don't have any yet. It's a little bit unfortunate, like these don't move or like writhe around, because I think that would be a really cool environmental detail. Because as it is, they just kind of look, I don't know, like anything else in the Forbidden Woods. Kerm loves the Victorian city atmosphere in the game, and then it just throws you into the woods to fight snakes. A tombstone so old the tree branches growing through it. Derek likes to imagine the snakes were meant to be more important in an earlier version of the game. The whole snake ball boss fight being a thing, yeah. A snake rate one would have been cool. That dead guy was just kneeling in front of a tombstone thinking about the murky deep sea? Maybe. Yeah. So these could have been like the Tombs of Great Ones, which is kind of what they're called in the art book. Let me get a little bit of water. Gazester says, snakes seem to be some type of parasite. We see them infesting people in the shadows. They may or may not be related to vermin. Yeah, and that's generally the way that I also like to think of the snakes, kind of like vermin adjacent, so not quite like the League vermin, but something along those lines. Alright, so as we come back to the main path, this is going back to where we came from. We can see that the lights literally light the way. So if you just follow them, you'll run into like a bunch of the snake balls and whatnot. Or they'll run into you. And this one you can kite into the fire, which is really funny. The fire of the horse, of course. The giant tombstones, are they meant to be the graves of great ones? Maybe. And I guess I should start showing off some of these other statues kind of in the area. Bloodstone shard. Hey, murky. So going up that way, I think, is where we'll get the two snakes together. Oh no, this is the jump off point? Yeah, I can hear the Celestials. I tend to forget where that specific spot is. Okay, I thought it was further up the ramp. Alright, give me a second here. You ever think it might be connected to Seoquatl, weapon of, I cannot pronounce that properly, and might have some connection to Udin? Okimin thinks that Miyazaki's pretty freaked out by snakes. He's always got creepy snakes in the games he directs. I think he just likes to include things that he knows can scare people. Because he's, at least in one of his interviews, he says, like, he doesn't really get, like, a lot of nightmares or isn't really frightened by a lot of things. So, alright, this is the jump-off point to go get the Graveguard set. So, yeah, I mean, I've played the game enough where I remember some of the landmark features. Wait, no, this is not the spot. Wait, no, it has to be. It's somewhere around, like, right here. I just want to find that spot before I look at... So no, this is not it, because that's where the chasm is. So maybe I was in the right spot just a moment ago. Pretty much had to be. Yeah, because that just connects back here. I just can't see a landing spot. But I hear the Celestials. Okay, so it's got to be over there. So the horse... So confused right now. So much for me saying, like, I know the general layout of things. Okay, so I'll just leave those for now. As we, like, look through the Forbidden Woods, we have some really interesting looking potential statues, or maybe these are, like, mushrooms or something, which look none other than, like, the amygdalae, which we can kind of have a resemblance to celestial larvae, if you look at, like, the little curled up arms on these things. And speaking of which, there should be some more celestial larvae statues nearby. Okay. And that's like a celestial larva. And these statues appear all throughout Yharnam as well, which is covered with amygdalae later on. They don't have these kind of amygdala statues, but they do have like the celestial larval ones. So that's what I wanted to show off. So whether or not amygdalae originally came from here, were they like Tumerians at one point, and all that stuff is kind of unresolved mysteries for the game. Alright. Why does everyone worship amygdalae, though? The first school of Mensis, then the Woods of Villagers. Oh, we don't really know. At least one idea that I have that's plausible is if you get grabbed by one, you can gain a kind of cosmic enlightenment via frenzy and insight, so... yeah. Kind of like morel mushrooms for sure. Kerm says, why was the amygdala the most worshipped of the Great Ones when Abritus was locked in the basement of the Healing Church? Did Amy interact with humans a lot? So, we'll talk about it more when we get to Abritus, but she would have been found really late in the timeline by the choir, and so the School of Mensis would have had potentially more interactions with amygdalae before Abritus was discovered. Resester says, the Forbidden Woods, specifically the Forbidden Grave when we fight the shadows of seems to be an excavation site. Berg probably entered the Chalice Dungeons from here. Yeah, that's kind of my headcanon as well. Amy's in the Grand Cathedral. I do get handy with people. You love the genuine fear of me when I see an Aztec name. It's not the fear, it's just like, I don't know, respect. I don't want to disrespect people by butchering things. Which I probably do inadvertently anyway. Whoops. Derek's seen theories posited that the celestial emissaries right before Brightus are there to communicate with her, but you don't really have much of an opinion on that one way or the other. I think so. I mean, it kind of goes in with the communion rune idea, even though that has a little bit of a separate meaning in English than Japanese. It's kind of similar, but aside from that, we also see like a call beyond attempts to contact the greater reaches of the cosmos. So it would seem in theme for the choir to try to contact a great one like Abritus, since they have audience with her, as it said. People getting high on insight. They treat an amygdala like a carnival game. Yeah. Alright, so what were we doing? Oh yeah, we're looking for the shortcut. Not shortcut, but the little ramp. Okay. That's a thing I want. Like, not literally, but that's just one of the landmarks that I keep in my mind. It's not there. It should be, though. Maybe it's just lower, and I need to jump to where that body is. Okay, no, no, no. This is definitely the spot. I was just blind. Okay. There we go. I don't know why that was so difficult. Graveguard Mask, and so we get the rest of the set down there. And then we'll fight some blueberries, maybe. Or are they in the other section? So no blueberries. This dude, the patrolling ones, they can summon the little snake balls, which can be kind of annoying. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, so going that way leads to the river, which is where we want to go. And so once we get to the river, we take a left. That'll lead us to the blueberries, where we can get another spiral rune and the other shortcuts over here. So this Lake of Mud kind of thing might have had a different boss at one point. I think Lance, or maybe it was Sanadiske, or maybe it was Zoli, said that the giant snake ball was set to spawn here at some point. I don't know if that's true. I might be misremembering. And it's kind of cool that it has fireflies here, and this is kind of like a little unique area in the games. As we come up, we'll get ambushed by a snake parasite behind this tree. They do a lot of damage. I got poisoned. That sucks. Alright, I'm gonna launch up the shortcut and then go back for the ALMAOs. Jin Shooting Star, welcome in. It's a shame that From didn't patch Bloodborne to run at 60 FPS. Yeah, for sure. Granted, I wouldn't be running that patch right now, but I agree. Playing Dark Souls 3 on the PS5 after the PS4 was kind of crazy. The difference in the 60 FPS. Very, very nice. Stamina rune. Yeah, that's a rune that I always want to get. Typically, because I don't level up a lot of the endurance on my own, I just typically rely on the runes to kind of make up for the lack of it. Oh, we can one-shot them? That's really good. Hey, blue elixirs. Sweet. The tendril boys are dangerous because they kind of have like their little magic beams, which can potentially one-shot. Tempering blood. Dang it. Anti-clockwise metamorphosis. Tempering blood. Maybe we'll get lucky. No. Okay. You do think it makes sense as a theory? Definitely not the most far-fetched as the theories go. The lake doesn't really mean anything anymore. It's so pretty compared to the rest of the woods. Yeah. Jin says, you're the only one that hope we never get a Bloodborne 2. I would hope that if there was a Bloodborne 2, that it wouldn't be like a direct sequel or just like a direct prequel. I think that would just be kind of boring to me. But I would prefer something with this kind of similar mechanics, lore-wise, just in a completely different setting and or timeline. So, I've told stream this before, but I'd love like an Aztecan, Mayan, Incan, or even like ancient Egyptian setting for like Bloodborne universe type stuff. You'll always foster hope for Bloodborne 2. You heard they're working on a more in-depth update for it? I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath. I'm a little bit surprised at how much damage we're doing, but then just like remembering, oh yeah, we've totally been in the Chalice dungeons farming way beyond this area. So I really shouldn't be surprised. Dissipating Lake. Oh, should I break the Shadows AI and do like the shadow skip kinda? That'd be kind of funny if it did. Oh yeah, this is a death spot. Sharp blood gemstone, sweet. Effervescent, welcome back in. You said they're not going to give it a free 60 FPS patch because Sony knows they can sell remastered 4K 60 FPS down the line. Bethesda. Jin, 100% agree. You don't really want a prequel or sequel unless the prequel is only semi-related, like visiting Loran already destroyed. Charles Banks wants some more variety of the same. You love the Gothic Victorian stuff, and then there's so little of it in the games. Yeah. It was really cool because Bloodborne was coming out like right around the same time as that like Order, was it 1886 or something like that? Order 1776 is like, kind of like another werewolf style game coming out at around the same time. But that one just really fell off the radar. Like didn't live up to the hype that it generated, unfortunately. And then yeah, there really hasn't been like a whole lot of this kind of a game style since, which is a shame. I really love the art direction for Bloodborne. I don't know how to do the skip. Do you need to go off the tree? Something like that? The Sandy Lauren Chalice has definitely got you interested in a desert setting for a game like Bloodborne. You always... Oh, you can Shaman Mode and Blade the Shadows? I guess you'd need to farm for one, which could be kind of annoying at this point in the game. Because you can't buy them. So you need to kill a brain sucker and get lucky. Oh, did I soft lock myself? No. That was a little bit sketchy. Go up the tree root. Oh, the big tree. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. I think that's the current patch version. I know like this one, it used to be a lot easier to do. So I was just going to try it for like a minute or two before moving on. Ooh, I think that might work eventually. You forget what triggers it though? The Insight Store sells them. So the trigger for that is actually in the Nightmare of Mensis in the big cathedral up there with all the spiders. You need to pick it up there. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, I don't know if this will work. Let me get some stamina. Like most people you know don't even realize that this game has anything to do with Lovecraftian themes. Oh, I think I screwed up. If you just show something like Lauren but give no background and basically no context, it can work. Explaining everything is lame. Well, now I might have done it. Uh-oh. Actually, I don't know why I've never tried, like, doing a bit more of the lunging attack type jumps. Okay, I guess you don't get as much height. My hubris. probably just bold Hunter Mark out in a second. I'll fight them regularly. I was just wondering if I could do this pretty easily. It's not the worst one in the world, but also with this many echoes, I may as well go back to the dream. Okay. Rip run. The same glitch happened to you on your last playthrough. At least they give you an inbuilt, like, get out of jail card. You've been replaying Code Vein recently, and you noticed it shares the theme of people's blood containing their hopes, feelings, and will. There's even an aspect of inheriting those. Okay, that's cool. It's something which seems to come up in quite a bit of games.
Very well.
I think it's kind of just related to some like Japanese beliefs of like animism type stuff, kind of.
Farewell.
But yeah, well let's I'll talk about that more in a second once I can focus a little bit better. Hey, we got another fire one? Sweet. I just must have unequipped it from earlier. Alright. So what do I have on? Did I really not have it on again? How did I screw that up before? Again. Alright, anyway. You guys just leave the moon right now. Now let's go back and fight the shadows. No, this had to be the right one. Just Forbidden Woods. Just wasn't looking up. You looked it up. Beating the Temerian Descendant unlocks Shaman Bone Blades in the Insights. Oh, Insight Story. Yeah, I forget that's the thing. You was wondering how you got them so early. Okay, that makes sense. Really liked Convade. Same shame it has no replay value and the DLC sucked. What's that old bastard have to do with Shaman Bone Blades? It could just be because it's like a ritual style material product. I don't know. That's a good question. Charles says the manga / anime Hellsing is all about a version of Dracula that literally stores all the people who's bitten his blood to summon them later, using their memories for experience. Yeah, so going back to the whole thing, like in Final Fantasy, we've got things like the life stream, which is kind of where like people's souls go. In Final Fantasy X, there's like the far plane, and I mean those universes are supposed to be connected, but in like Saga Frontier, it's kind of similar to the concept of anima, which you guys mentioned with Code Vein and Hellsing. It's got a similar thing. I mean, granted, this isn't just exclusive to like Japanese games and whatnot. The idea of like the blood housing the soul was pretty big in like medieval times as well. So like the whole thing of like the blood of the covenant being thicker than water, or whatever the full expression is, also had more meaning that way as well. I don't know why I went this way. I typically like to jump down and run through the woods and then just jump down through the grave and not have to deal with the pigs. Although I guess the pigs will give me 4 vials each. Oh, I killed it. You wouldn't say it has no replay value, but true about the DLCs. Bosses are really cool though. And then, of course, like, the idea of, like, the souls existing in the afterlife is kind of present in Dark Souls. That gets tied back into the blood, although that's more like FromSoft references right there. Sweet. Okay. Let's fight the shadows. We got our pistol out for the parries. I wonder if the lighting looks different. Oh, there's like the trees in the background from Byrgenwerth. And so now that we get down here, I guess it'll be easier to show off after the fight. The moon will appear this direction, like that way. Which doesn't line up with the rest of the Forbidden Woods. Oh. With the rest of the Forbidden Woods or Byrgenwerth over there. They strong against fire? Are they really? I thought they were okay against it. I didn't think it mattered that much. There aren't really builds in Code Vein, that's what you meant? There's no need to make another character in New Game, plus doesn't offer much. Yeah. Yeah, see, we're doing okay damage. I mean, we're also pretty over-leveled here. How did I miss? Get me off the wall. Way too early. Oh, I thought it was way too early with that. We don't have any boss music, I just noticed. Oh. Just get over-leveled and bully them. That's the real strat. Get through that a little bit more. I like to get rid of the caster first. I know a lot of people don't. I just don't like how easily you can screw things up from a distance. That should finish this guy off. Oh, no. Alright, so as long as I don't, like, walk into this dude. Okay. And we do not get Blood Rapture in this version of the game. So that's worth pointing out. I guess I should have recorded that fight, but whatever. What an ending, got it. Yeah, just abusing the game's AI. I'm not going to go back to the dream. So yeah, this is the Forbidden Grave, potentially where Byrgenwerth would have gone into the tombs. In my opinion, like, we don't really get anything to suggest that so much in here. But at the very least, we do have like a bunch of the skeletons just kind of chilling out. They seem a lot bigger. I don't know if these are like actual animals or something, but we do get some kind of like human-esque skulls. So maybe they're just big and on their sides, or maybe they're horses in some spots. But I mean, for the most part, they look humanoid. And just a ton of graves, some sticking out of the earth. And yeah. It's unfortunate that they didn't give the Blood Rapture in this patch of the game, although, like, in the life cycle, like, the game is getting patched quite a bit. It probably had a day one patch, and I don't know if that fixed things either. I just don't remember. Alright. Are you sure you didn't turn the music off? I didn't. So, if we look at the environment, we've got music on. But again, like, in this patch of the game, the sound balancing feature was just kind of broken to begin with. So, I mean, I can go to Yharnam just to show off that we have music. Let's go to Byrgenwerth first. We'll get accosted by a Garden of Eyes. They should have the Merciless Watchers theme from the Chalices. Interesting they don't have any on 1.0. The Eternity is another anime about a creature that learns human nature by taking on the bodies and memories of the peoples he's witnessed dying. Yeah, so that comes up quite a bit. It's not just related to Japan, as I was saying, but it does seem to be more prevalent in, like, their kind of media today compared to, like, what we have in the West. Maybe not. I don't know. I might just be oversimplifying things. Should have stabbed it. Because it's a kin type enemy. I'll talk about the stashes and stuff here more when we come back. Thanks for the GGs, everyone. You would have died like 20 times. Welcome back to the stream, Signal Guns. I mean, I am familiar with quite a bit of the bosses, and once you get your own strat and you're like able to execute it, I don't know, it just becomes more manageable. You know what the enemies can do. Like, the times I parried the shadows, like, I felt those were garbage, but I mean, it worked. Like, after a while, you just kind of develop, like, a sense of timing for things, and that's a little bit unfortunate that it's more, like, timing and rhythm-based than, like, actual, being able to read their moves and react accordingly at times. So I'm not going to worry too much about bullets against Ram. So let's go back to Yharnam just to show it off again. Oh yeah, because I guess we didn't visit it in the night phase of the night either. We were here in the evening. So I guess there's also that reason to come back. Cronenberg-themed monsters are so cool. You've never really understood what enemies are kin and why. So that's a good question, even though it wasn't really phrased that way. The way that I look at kin is that they're related to invertebrates, and because of that, or invertebrates slash phantasms, and because of that, that makes their like bodies are like really squishy and therefore like more resistant to blunt type damage and more prone to being like pricked open by thrust. Oh, it feels so nice being able to just bully these guys now. Hey, we get some twins. We need those still. So yeah, we do have the music going on in this area. This bastard ended the Deathless Run, technically. The unintended Deathless Run. Oh, I forgot about her. I was like, what's that noise? How could I have forgotten about our eye-scooping friend? And so, going back to this note, behold the pale blood sky. I mean, why is the sky a pale blood sky? It just changed. It doesn't make sense unless there's something else going on here that we can't quite perceive. Blood Rapture's so good. Goddess Beget says, kin are evolved wings that aren't great ones from your understanding. That's even more interesting. So yeah, I guess I should explain that a bit more, because we did pick up one of the kin cold blood from the Nightmare Frontier, so this will be a pretty relevant topic. So let me swig some water again. Cold blood of inhuman kin of the cosmos, brethren of the great ones, used to gain unspeakable blood echoes. Dare not to delve into the world beyond humanity, the eldritch truth touched upon long ago at Byrgenwerth. So, translation issues aside, when we look at kin cold blood, it says that they're the inhuman kin of the cosmos and brethren of the great ones. That part is okay, and this isn't so much a translation thing as I think like just a From Software writing thing, is they use the word kin a little bit too often, kind of similar to like Executioner. So the way that I look at the kin type enemies specifically, and this will tie into what I was saying earlier, when we look at our damage types, here we go. We've got two icons, one of like a slug-like thing and the other of like a cackling beast. So with kin, we have kin of the cosmos, which are related to eyes, like the eyes chalice with like a brightness and all those kind of things. And so I think those are related to phantasms slash invertebrates. Whereas the kin related to the great ones are supposed to be understood as just like relations of the great ones, but it's not a biological thing as much as it is like a status thing, whereas kin of the cosmos I would argue is more of like a biological thing. So I'll talk about that a bit more when we do the Rom fight as well. But I would say kin of the cosmos are related to phantasms, invertebrates, and the things that we would find in the Ice Chalice dungeons, and that's why they're weak to electricity and thrust attacks. Hope that makes sense. Squish equals kin, fur equals beast, essentially Mega Blair. And Grisester brings up a good point. They might have the bolt weakness because of all of the mucus they're covered in. And sea music, this is your favorite track in the game? Yeah, same here, I think. Hail of the Nightmare is definitely among your favorite songs in Bloodborne, if not your number one. Even the Latin vocals are a bit shaky. The Latin is kind of jank at times. I mean, it's kind of a par for the course with Japanese games. They have jank Latin with like a one-winged angel. Joseph says, you're thinking about the name Murgo today, and it led to Ergot and the fantastic tale of St. Anthony's Fire. Oh yeah, a historical plague of the hallucinatory fungus. Wonder if it inspired them. I look at the name Murgo as potentially related to like Margot, but I don't really know for sure. So is that all I wanted to show off there? I'm pretty sure. So let's go back to Byrgenwerth, Burger King. Totally works though if it's the ceremonial vibe. You never noticed there were Latin lyrics in One Winged Angel? Oh yeah, for sure, definitely there. Oh yeah. So we're back in this space. Did I pick up the item? I might have just ran past it. Yeah. Bit of Madman's knowledge. Hey, we heard Murdo crying. Sweet. So as we come into like Byrgenwerth proper, we get some more statues. These can be found in Upper Cathedral Ward, and these ones like are in the Fishing Hamlet as well. I don't think the smaller Amygdalan ones are in the Fishing Hamlet. So one thought that I've had about this, and it might be easier to show off on my computer, would be there might be oh, they don't do damage with the grab, it's just the frenzy, huh? Oh, I thought I was gonna get grabbed again. I wonder if there's like these statues represent a progression and a kind of transformation of men turning into something like an Amygdala, or even potentially a Brightus. And this doesn't necessarily look like her at first, but there's kind of like this growth coming out of her back, which does look like the little things back here. So let me try to pull this up on my computer and show it off. Oh, here we go. One moment. I think it's on my Twitter. I'll have to like scroll through that. So this would have been a while ago. Alright, I should be close. Apparently I'm not. Okay, here we go. That's 1 and 2. Let me copy this URL or whatever. Alright, so let me see if this will work. If it doesn't work, I apologize. So I realized I don't actually have my microphone set up to that as I was talking, so that's definitely an oversight by me. My apologies there. I was saying you could ignore like the Orphan of Cost stuff on the left, but as you look to the right, you get some of the statues that you'd see in Yarhargul, Upper Cathedral Ward, and then the four in the white are where what you'd see in like Byrgenwerth, and then I showed the amygdala that you'd see in like the Grand Cathedral. And so let me just show a brightest on the far right just to compare. All right, so my apologies. So if you look at the far right, she's got that like little tendril thing sticking out, just kind of like the statue does right here. So I don't necessarily think they have to be related, but it's just something that I've wondered. And so could amygdalae come from humans? Potentially. Who really knows though? All right, let me scroll back over the chat because I had to tab out of this. Byrgenwerth, fear the old beef. You love the fact that they tried with real Latin. Correct Latin is very, very hard to get right, and no one agrees how to pronounce it. Check out the alternate version of Hail the Nightmare. You feel the Gardens of Eyes an early stage evolution of men turning on into amygdalae. Oh yeah, that's another good thing to bring back up. I agree with you. I think they kind of pulled that back from the final build of the game, but that's just kind of my kind of headcanon that the Gardens of Eyes might be related to amygdalae. Come on, man. Flip around. These ragdolls. So hard to find good ragdolls these days. Can we see their tail? Didn't get it. Oh, kinda. Not really, though. Granted, like, the Gardens of Eyes have, like, wings coming out of their backs of their necks. I mean, so do amygdalae, sort of. They have, like, these proto-wings that are in a different location. Like, the amygdalan wings are more on their back, whereas, like, the Gardens of Eyes is more on their head. Granted, there's more Gardens of Eyes we could show off in a second. Oh, there was its tail. It's kind of hard to see because of the shadows. It's, like, too misty, but let's put on the HUD. Right, so this thing right here is the tail, and of course they got like the spider-esque leg wing things, and they've almost got like heads of spiders with 1,000 eyes, and they've got like these little stones which have depictions of spiders on them. Can we show it off? Yes. Okay, I can't show it off super well, but like the 4 or 5 white lines are the spider's legs, and the white circle at the bottom is its like body or its head, or are those the eyes on it? Damn it. Okay, that's a little bit better angle. And so even their rocks that they hold have like a bunch of eyes on them, which is kind of cool. One of the important things about that is even though they have the rock things, they're just kind of more related to cut content. So they used to have animations for attacks that they'd be able to use a couple spells, maybe like bell ringers, but they were cut, obviously. So that's kind of why they are the way that they are. Feel the Garden's Vise, early evolution. Oh, it's actual gibberish? No, not real Latin. When I pulled it up, it felt like when the teachers are trying to show us something during online lessons. Yeah, I mean, super high tech. Looks similar to Accession, as in DS3, those hollows turning into trees. You think they're straight up petrified corpses of fishermen from the hamlet? So one of the weird things is in the hamlet, they do have like the similar kinds of statues as well. Like you can see this one specifically, like in the hamlets too. So it'd be kind of funny if the hamlet people had statues of their own dudes who'd been petrified. And then we'll get a brain sucker up there. I guess I should have switched back to the bolt gem. Maybe not for Yuri, but... Oh, I thought I was going to miss. So the version that Lance pulled up wasn't in real Latin. Makes sense. They're all holding the weird carving. I got the torch. Yeah, I do have the torch. It's just kind of annoying to switch it between the pistol and everything. So the cool thing... Oh, damn it. He really heard me. The cool thing about the brain suckers, maybe I should show it off. Maybe I shouldn't. Is that they do have like this gigantic parasite that pops out of their heads. This one has like the hood on. So one of the things that I kind of headcanon is that the existence of the brain suckers and gardens of eyes, when we look at their little robes, is they're not dissimilar to what the research hall patients wore. So in my personal headcanon, I like to imagine that the patients that we see in the research hall would eventually come on, or would eventually become brain suckers and or the gardens of eyes and things like that. Partially just because we know they were filling their heads with unknown things, and I just like the idea, really. Even though we don't have explicit confirmation. Maybe Bird got the statues from the Hamlet raid. That's kind of one of the thoughts that I have as well. And there's some other cool statues to show off inside the building. I don't remember if they're also outside the building. Oh, okay, so we do have some outside. So Byrgenwerth, we also have like statues of proto-messengers holding up lanterns, kind of like we would see in the Nightmare Frontier. And the Chalice Dungeons. And on Willem's desk, we also have statues of messengers and whatnot. I thought there was an item. It's always on the other side. So we have some more Gardens of Eyes just chilling up top. I guess we can't see them yet. So they just dropped down. They were chilling by Willem. That was annoying. We're gonna get shot by this centipede and frenzied. My heal is way too early. Get me off the wall. I can't see at all. Okay, I'm dead. Normally I just run past them because there's really not too much reason to fight them. I don't know if they drop gems or anything, but yeah. Just showing those off. Sorry. One of the other cool things about Byrgenwerth's campus is we can get a Great One's Wisdom. I think this is the first one you can pick up in the base game. Without like Chalice Dungeons, obviously. Facing like the lake where you'd find Ram and stuff. So I'll get that on the second time going through here, I guess. I'll just skip these things. Maybe die to Yuri. Wow, grabbed me. Okay, that's annoying. No sound effects. Sedatives. Okay, sweet. That's really cool. And then we'll come back in just a second. Not gonna waste the blood vials or dealing with them. Well, that's one way to do it. Yeah, Grisesters points out the brain suckers have some stitchings on their heads where the phantasms come out of. I guess I should show it off. I just don't want to lose the insight, even though I probably should. Oh, and I can also show off the Cathedral Ward Messengers, because we definitely have way over 50 insight. The blue ALMAOs are the only successful kind of ascended beings. The rest are just failed. Depends on how you want to define success, but yeah. I still haven't switched over to the bolt. Oh yeah, well I died along the way. I think in this version of the game you could probably glitch out Rom the same way you can the other fights. Okay, this... Damn it. That's... Wait. That's funny. Arcane Haze, that's cool. And we got the sedatives, which is worth showing off. But I really like the fact that we get the Great One's Wisdom here. So it's like the first one you would get in the game, which I think gives it a little bit of a special significance. Is there another item over there? Yeah, it's probably unimportant. So at least let's just sneak up and then grab it. That dude doesn't care, okay. Sweet, okay. It only matters for physical. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. It's just habit, I suppose. Thank you for the reminder, though. What are we doing? Oh yeah, sedatives. This is a really important description. Like, super important. And I passed it. Dirty grapplers. Mr. Lolster, welcome back. Mercy, welcome in. You can have low thrust defense, but that only comes into play when using actual physical attacks. That sucks. It's not like the serrated multiplier for beasts. Okay, that's good to know. So this is liquid medicine concocted at Byrgenwerth. Calms the nerves. Those who delve into the arcane fall all too easily to madness, and thick human blood serves to calm the frayed nerves of these inquisitive minds. Naturally, this often leads to a reliance on blood administration. Oh, damn it, I forgot the English changes that quite a bit. Okay, so let me look at my spreadsheet. Oh, I guess I need to switch, fix my translation too. This must have been done early. So the final line is, rather than naturally, this often leads to a reliance on blood administration. It's more like this was the shoot which led to blood healing. So essentially, the act of blood healing came from using sedatives to resist the effects of frenzy when the Byrgenwerth scholars were exploring the underground chalices. So they might have used their own blood at first, or maybe it was just the blood of the Tumerians. And they're like, holy crap, this feels great. But that's just kind of a crazy detail to miss out on. We get the Pearl Slug, another super important thing, and I'll try to look at that after Yuri. Afroman, welcome back. What did you talking about? Just got here. We just talked about the sedatives of Byrgenwerth being essentially what gave rise to blood healing. Yuri's gonna be angry. Maybe? Why is she not walking? There she go. So this is how we just mess with her AI. If you go out too far, she'll be like, huh, I guess no one's here, like Metal Gear Solid style, and then just go back up the steps. Grisester says, interesting thing is the sedatives actually mention human blood, unlike all the other blood items. Yeah. Let me double check the Japanese. I'm pretty sure it's the same, but I'm curious again. Yeah, it definitely says, like, person blood. Dan Stern, welcome in again. Arcane is 100% guaranteed drop. Is it guaranteed? I thought it wasn't. Maybe it just fell through the floor before. And Derek brings up a good point that the choir member Yuri doesn't seem to... well, I guess you could also argue that Edgar is part of the choir and all that. But they're interesting because she seems to be the only living member we actually see in the game. So this is how you get close-ups of some of the characters. You just break their AI and all that. So this is Yuri. She's wearing the choir set. And one of the things that I like to show off about the choir set is like this little flower bud. Oh, that's actually even better than I thought. Nice. Well, so much for getting that footage. I mean, I could reset and everything, but it's not the plan, my man. Oh, that was lucky. Alright, so this is the Hunter Strat cheese. Spam R1 until you run out of stamina. Shoot. Sometimes you'll get really lucky and catch their attacks. And repeat. Damn it. That's funny as crap. I mean, I could have healed, but I was just being lazy. Oh, I really shouldn't spam my bullets because I don't have a lot because I'm low. Whatever. Edgar is the guy in Mensis, right? I was going to mention that dude. Yes. So I do have my reservations as to whether or not he should be considered a true choir scholar, but I do end up shooting myself in the foot by like not trusting the guide because a lot of information comes from the guide that we wouldn't normally have otherwise. But at the very least, this will give me another chance to highlight the little flower buds. And while she breaks her AI... Oh yeah, I use the auger more. Oh yeah, I'm an arcane character, aren't I? Yeah, I wonder how that would work with spamming things. So anyway, now that we picked some of these up, one of the thoughts that I have about like what's on the choir uniform and all of the things related to the choir is that they could be cold blood flower buds. And I think the Lumen Flower Gardens could also just be cold blood flowers, but I'll talk about that more when we get there. Material used in a holy chalice rite. Pale vegetation that commonly grows on cold blood in a place long ago abandoned. So at the very least, it does show that even the flowers in this game have absorbed the blood and therefore can potentially be transformed by the blood. So essentially, like, the blood is in everything, is the real main takeaway. Yuri, Yosefka, and the Bloody Crow are like the hardest in the game for you. She does use the Rosemarina, so it's a pretty dead giveaway. Let's be very, very quiet. We're hunting Skalas. Alright, let's pour it a little bit. This is kind of nerve-wracking. Oh, there we go. Alright, that'll be good enough, I think. I don't really know if I'm going to use that. It's just kind of... You never know. Sometimes it's nice to have that kind of thing. Edgar could be there to oversee the choir's interests. Yeah, he is described as a spy and whatnot, so... That said, Mikolash uses the Brightest-themed items, but that's probably a remnant at the time when the Brightest used to be called Cost. And there's also, like, a Call Beyond, which is definitely a choir... is the choir weapon of choice. Probably gonna miss. I'm probably too far away. Okay, it's too slow. It's too slow. I shouldn't back off. Oh, I just tried to heal. Went through her. That's unfortunate. Oh god, the Rose Marinus. It hurts. How's it feel to get hit by your own Slimer, which you didn't use? Blue elixirs ×3 from her. And then we get the other student set in here. Which is another way to link Byrgenwerth to the lecture hall, even though the English description doesn't say the theater key is from Byrgenwerth. Still less creepy than when you looked at Frida with the binoculars right in front of her. Yuri got tentacled. Call Beyond used to be called the Rathacos. Ebriatus has the similar attack in the retail version. Oh no, I accidentally reverted into my normal way of saying Ebriatus. The spider hides all manner of rituals, certain to reveal nothing, for true enlightenment need not be shared. So I've talked about this note extensively in my videos, that rather than true enlightenment need not be shared, it's more like the spider hides the insightful truth, and like nobody should know it is essentially what it's trying to say. Which is a big difference, and I think it's supposed to be a developer hint that if you have enough insight, you can start to perceive the rituals, which is Murgo crying. Let's get our Pale Slug, Empty Phantasm Shell. Wait, are the Byrgenwerth hunters? Not entirely, but there were kind of some. Oh yeah, I never showed off the Graveguard set. I'm slipping. Okay. So there's a lot to cover right here, even before going to that next note. Alright, so let's just start here. Let's pick up from where we started in this area. Let's go with the Pearl Slug. Of all the strange life forms that reside in the nooks and crannies of the old labyrinth, the slugs are clear signs of the left-behind Great Ones. So this is what I would call a translation note, where the localizers didn't necessarily know if Great One was singular or plural, but from the Augur of Abritus description, I would argue that it should be pretty clear that references to left-behind Great Ones should be understood as a singular reference to Abritus. So, is that different in this one? Yeah, so in this version of the game... Oh, wait, no. Partially summoned abandoned Abritus. So, it's essentially the same term in Japanese, but... That was my justification for saying that, like, The pearl slugs are related to Abritus, and we use the pearl slug to get access to the Great Eyes Chalice, which we fight Abritus at the very end of. So that's one of those connections there. And that will tie into the Graveguard set in the Eye Rune, which we'll show off in a moment here. So let's go to the Graveguard set that we picked up in the Forbidden Woods. Oh, it's different. Okay. Mask of Dora's Graveguard of the Forbidden Woods. His pale countenance mimics the Labyrinth Watchers. Willem kept 2 loyal servants back at Byrgenwerth. When they were sent into the Labyrinth, they encountered the Eldritch Truth and went mad. One became the password gatekeeper, while Dora's became a Graveguard of the Forest. Both remained loyal even in madness. And the second one is just countless bloodied ritual tools hang from its back, covered in the blood of untidy rituals. And that's that. Okay. So a lot to unpackage here. As far as the translations notes go, there's a little bit of ambiguity in the Japanese as to whether or not Doras and the Gatekeeper were literally sent into the labyrinth, or whether they followed their lord into the labyrinth, which is a pretty big discrepancy, and that'll be relevant when we look at the Eye Rune in a moment as well. They went into the labyrinth and they encountered the Eldritch Truth. As I mentioned before in the previous streams, all instances of Eldritch Truth, Eldritch Wisdom, are synonymous with what we call the arcane stat. So part of the reason I'm stressing this right now is in Byrgenwerth, we did just pick up some of the sedatives, and it says, those who delve into the arcane fall all easily to madness, and thick human blood serves to calm the frayed nerves of these inquisitive minds. So I'm pretty confident I would need to double check. That madness in this case is frenzy, but I mean, we use sedatives to alleviate frenzy, so that's no stretch of the imagination. But going back to the whole Eldritch Truth and arcane connection, when you come into contact with the arcane, you get frenzied, and so you use sedatives to counteract it. The Graveguards came into contact with the arcane, aka Eldritch Truth, and they went mad, so it's extremely on theme there. And so one thing that I bring up. So let's go get Willem and the Eye Rune real quick, and then we'll look at the note inside the building. Byrgenwerth were just scholars. I do think they had hunters for like the tombs at first, and so like Graveguard Doras could have been one of those hunters, which is what brought me along that tangent. So this is Willem. He's neither beast or kin. Like if you have the kin type gems, you can experiment with the damage against him. We talked to him. I wasn't trying to sit down. It's kind of interesting he didn't point right then. Does he not point immediately? Oh, that's cool. I should have recorded that. So I guess you had to talk to him multiple times in 1.0. 1.00. We might get him to T-pose if we... Yeah, boy. Well, I did call it at one point. Damn it. Use our beast blood pellets. His head follows us while he's T-posed? Oh, I can't... Oh, yeah, I can zoom in further. So I almost thought it was like a woman on it. Maybe it's... Oh, it's probably just his blood. Duh. Bug-eyed. So he's got like the sensors on him. His clothes are reminiscent of like the choir robes and whatnot. So they get their uniform inspiration from him. When we look at the back of his neck, he's got like these fungal type features coming out of him. He doesn't have a head that's attached to his body apparently. And he's got feet, I think. Yeah. Oh, and socks apparently. And part of the reason why I'm showing the feet is because in the earlier artwork books, he had a more similar design to the Slime Scholars, which don't really have feet. Maybe they do under all their slime, it's just kind of hard to say. Check out the staff. So that's kind of cool to show off. It looks like more flower buds and whatnot. Stuff that you can't really see so well on the retail version of the game. So let's try to look at his locket. Interesting. Where's the pocket watch or whatever this is? So yeah, when we kill Willem, we'll get the iron. Alright. Let me check what y'all are saying. They needed to get help of actual hunters for the Hamlet raid. Why does Ram have no legs? Well, he does, but not much if he's a spider. It'd be much harder if he did. Dora's merch. You've heard they cut her legs because she'd be too difficult to hit otherwise. No source on that one. So I asked Lance, and he said he never saw anything of like Ram having bigger legs or anything. So I guess that might just be fan rumor. It's definitely been patched. Yeah, only one interaction with Willem. Yeah, I know that. So that just kind of, I guess I didn't remember that you have to talk to him multiple times. It makes sense because like if you talk to him once, you're not going to think to, and he doesn't say to like come down here, like you're not going to know to do that. So it totally makes sense that they patched that to just be the one interaction and done. He's got the coolest outfit in the game, not going to lie. And of course, the head follows you. One needs to look someone in the eyes in order to assert dominance. Well, his eyes are in his head, right? It's so janky. Let's try to get a closer look at those, like... let me record this. This is kind of funny. So, part of what I think about Willem is these little growths on his back. They're probably related to like the kind of things we can see growing on a Brightus as well. Or maybe even Ram. Maybe that's supposed to be like all connected. It's hard to say for sure. Hit him so hard I had to make him sit back down. I figured I killed him if he didn't stand back up. Alright, so we could pick up the iron, which is important. A secret symbol left by Carol Runesmith of Byrgenwerth, a transcription of I as spoken by left behind great ones, allows one to make additional discoveries. So this goes back directly into what I was talking about with the Pearl Slug and the Augur Vibritus. So if this is spoken by a singular left behind great one, the most logical explanation for that would have been it came from a Brightus directly. So if Willem got a Carol rune in his mind from the voice of a Brightus, it could suggest he was in the Chalice dungeons when it happened. Because we know Byrgenwerth didn't meet them directly, so maybe he just heard her voice while he was down there. It's also possible that maybe the Augur Vibritus can summon her voice as well. It's a little bit weird, but I don't really know how I feel about it entirely. But at the very least, there is a kind of quasi-connection between contact with a Brightus granting eyes on the inside to a certain degree. Whether this isn't a literal eye and it's more of like a metaphorical eye with the Carol rune, that's worth consideration. But or whether it's actually a literal one from Carol runes, because that could happen with maybe Adeline and the patients of the research hall. But just keep all this stuff in mind. So just, it's a little bit unfortunate that all of these very, very minor things just kind of lock us out of a potential reading of the lore, which is pretty significant in my opinion. Alright. Only T-pose to show dominance on a chair. You really do like the idea of needing to talk to multiple times in concept, but yeah, it doesn't work well in practice. He never looked at the mushroom things growing out of his back. Nightbot roasting Willem out here. Is it just bishop hats, or does this hat look suspiciously like a squid? I think just bishop hats, but that's an interesting idea that it looks like a squid. The fluorescent flowers came up because they could be, if not human, like the other things that were clearly were humanoid before. You kind of joked that maybe it was a literal flower before. Need to think that there are plant-based connections with kin. Mushrooms on this dude or Ram's back. Grisester says you're going to show off the trapdoor. I wasn't thinking about it, but that totally reminds me to look at some other things too. So I have mentioned on the previous streams, we had that note to go over, but there's this astrolabe within Byrgenwerth itself, and this one's upside down compared to all of the other ones in the game. So with the potential of Byrgenwerth being related to an upside down lecture hall at one point is kind of interesting to consider, because there might be a remnant of that still in this version of the game. And even though I say that, I'm pretty sure like the sun face on this astrolabe would actually be right side up, technically, because all of the other ones I'm pretty sure are upside down. Anyway, it's not too important. The astrolabes may show a Lagrangian point, and I'm not going to explain that just because I don't really remember it too well. It's probably like the point within orbit of a satellite where you become stationary and locked into it, or like the equivalent kind of orbit to the thing you're orbiting, I guess. Kind of like the moon is to the Earth. But I might be completely misremembering that, so my apologies if I got that wrong. Just look it up if you're super curious. I don't think it's super important to the lore, though. When the red moon hangs low, the line between man and beast is blurred, and when the great ones descend, a womb will be blessed with child. So this is like the hardest note to translate in the game. It could have potentially like 6 meanings, like wombs won't appear, but anyway, the real big kicker is like the concept of wombs being blessed with child was probably changed into embracing children instead. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I think what we get in the final version of the game is pretty close to the Japanese, but the embracing thing just might be more relevant to like the bile blood stuff and the moon presence grabbing us in the second and third endings. So I mentioned before, Willem's desk, which is what we can see right here, does have like statues of messengers on it, holding up notes, which is kind of funny. And so we get some more of like the transforming things as well in 2 different states. So I wanted to show that off. And with the potential of the Byrgenwerth being connected to the lecture hall at one point, it could have potentially been from this trapdoor. There's also a point in development where you might have gone through the bottom of the Grand Cathedral and followed like where you'd fight Abritus to come to Byrgenwerth. And you might have just come up that way, but I don't really know exactly how that was supposed to work, but potential. As Joseph says, so runes are like some cymatic patterns burned onto the mind's eye like an afterimage. Lagrange point diagrams looks a lot like a hanging man symbol. Yeah, kinda. So yeah, it's interesting you bring up cymatics. That stuff is super crazy, but super cool to look at in relation to Bloodborne. I won't go into detail about that here, but if you guys remind me, I'll post something on the Discord. But it's basically the study of sound as it relates to water and what you can learn or like image through sound being imprinted on water and the vibrations that it causes. There's this super crazy video about like the scientists like studying this, and they essentially got a picture of what a dolphin literally saw in water based on the echolocation of their like the noises that they make. So they're able to find figures of like outline shapes of men holding buckets and other types of objects from water. And so they took the recording of the dolphin's echolocation and transcribed it into a 3D space and sound, and that's how they're kind of able to recreate those images. So it's absolutely crazy, like the physics of sound and fluids and vibrations, period, which kind of has some overlaps to Bloodborne stuff. Not a ton, but just... I don't think it's super relevant, but I mean, like, hold on, let me rephrase it. Like, I think it's relevant, but I don't think the developers went out of their way to, like, look at this potentially, like, pseudoscientific stuff, which very few people in the entire world really even know. It's just related to the physics of sound in general. And why do I know about this? Random things that I think could relate to Bloodborne lore. I definitely have wasted too much time looking at random stuff. There's that Byrgenwerth cave concept art, which is similar to the Altar of Despair and the caves under Yosefka's. Yeah, I was going to say that the Byrgenwerth cave, I think, is just moved underneath Yosefka's clinic. Like, I think that's where the concept art fits in. I meant to switch out to the bolt gem. Or maybe I should take off and just do the... Oh, yeah, I could use bolt paper. Grisester, you probably know better than I do. Would using bolt paper also overwrite the physical damage, or no? We went down through the trapdoor to that area to find the Rom corpse to teleport to the Moonside Lake, as the Bergen Lake wouldn't be there at that point in development. Yeah, that's another good thing to bring up. I thought about talking about it, it's just kind of slipped my mind. Tomb of Gramia? Maybe. Yeah, it was Gramia. Wasted time, time well spent, my friend. Joseph says, you wish we could see sound. You're a musician, so you try to imagine the architecture of elegantly curved air. Remember, all around us is just a sea of air. And that's a very good way of putting it. I don't remember who said that originally, but I do think it's pretty poignant overall in relation to a silly game like Bloodborne. Alright. Bolt paper just adds flat bolt damage to the weapon. You're probably better off with just the bolt gems, considering it by high arcane stat. Even if I intend to use the beast blood pellet. Oh well, I'm probably not gonna like kill her the one way anyway. Let's just try it this way. Yeah, I thought arcane does raise. Well, if it's flat, it won't matter. Which is what he's getting at. We're doing... I keep going there. Although, we could try to jump off and, cheese it. Oh yeah, I forgot to read the Lunarium key. I think that one will chase me to where Willem is. Oh yeah. And of course, no old hunters in this version of the game. Was to jump off. I think it's if we like jump down here first. I meant to like hit the side first. Okay, I screwed up. Whatever. Another weird thing is if you could hear colors, what would that sound like? Maybe just imagine it sounds like something you imagine. The papers and the empty phantasm shell are really bad. Makes sense. So we get Rom. Yeah. We'll see more of her later. Don't want to talk to her or about her. Oh, it lived. Yeah, maybe I should have stuck with bolt paper. Oh, these ones bleed white in their faces. Or maybe it's because I had the bolt paper on, it was just hard to tell. Or bolt gem on before. Okay. Chill fight, GG in advance if I don't blow it. Oh yeah, I should have equipped like the student set or some crap. Oh crap, I wasn't expecting her. I wasn't expecting her to go. I did more damage than I thought. Music change. I just hate how abruptly that comes in. It's just so loud. My angle must have been off. So much for the beast blood pellets. Keep eyes on Ron, because she'll do some janky crap like that. Okay, I thought that was going to be the AoE explosion, which is scary. Why is Nightbot so mean? Because it's dry, not enough water. I feel like I'm hearing whispering. Maybe I have a tab playing right now or something. Because I don't think it's the fight. Maybe I'm going insane. Because now I definitely don't hear it. It's weird. This is some of her attacks then? Oh yeah, that's the fine one. Alright, let's put that back. I guess it's the song, it just doesn't seem that way. There's the explosion? No. Well, I screwed that up. There is whispering in the music track? Okay, makes sense. I don't think I've really noticed it before. Oh. She wasn't facing me, so I didn't expect that. Run, run, run. Yeah, there it is. Oh, that's dangerous. Arcane meteors. That's really weird. Hey, I dropped one of the madman's knowledges. That's cool. Yeah, there's the whispering again. Either I'm really rusty at the ROM fight, or that attack attacked better earlier, which I don't believe. I'm probably just doing it wrong. That one was just purely me. Oh god, oh god. I almost blew it right then. I guess I need to like run into her. Some stars and nebula, very pretty. Okay, here we go. I'm not gonna waste the beast blood pellets. Although watch her kill me by a damn melee. That's happened to me before. On stream, no less. So we get a madman's knowledge from one of her babies. I tried to use it like a Demon Souls item right then. Just trying to rally that HP back. I'm gonna summon some crap. Alright, now we just need to do that and the chalices eventually. I'll probably just continue on with the main game though. It's just because we'll get more chunks and then better gems before dealing with Ram. We get Kin Cold Blood from her, which people take to mean that she's not a great one, but the trophy description really does call her a great one, so don't come in here saying she's not a great one. You're just going to make me angry because you're blatantly wrong. There. No, I missed a bit on that. I have to pay attention to her just because of all the crap with the ads and everything. Whisper is part of the OST. The transition in the music can either sound more or less natural depending on where it occurs, unfortunately. Is it possible the semi-liquid surface you fight Ram on is meant to be Quicksilver? I've wondered that. I mean, it does bear that resemblance. But you would sink through it, and that would be very bad. But I mean, nightmare logic. So some people believe it's supposed to be like the reflection of the moon in the lake, which is cool. So, yeah, I don't know. What would space look in the world of Bloodborne? I like to think of it like normal space, kind of like the a Call Beyond type stuff. There's like a window to space in the One Reborn cutscene. I think that's a window to the nightmare, but I know what you mean. Yeah, Grozester agrees pretty much. Like the Living Failure special attack. It's probably scary, dark, and cold like Bloodborne lair. This game gives you creeps. As far as water and how it relates to Bloodborne, you think it's interesting that if you look at their Heisman, the Hunter's Dream, you can make out what appears to be water. Yeah, even in the Hunter's Nightmare, it looks more like water too. If Ram is a transformed scholar, you figure the Ramlets would be her fellow scholars, which happened to be around when she transformed. I like that idea, honestly, because that could help resolve the idea of Great Ones losing their children and whatnot. Ram seems like a neutral actor in Mad Men's Wicked's plots. Yeah, it's really hard to say whether she has agency or if she's just a kind of useful, literal idiot in this case. Mega Blair believes Ram's like an actual spider, no brain activity other than instinct. Should continue in Yarhagul for the bolt gem. Oh yeah, and the Tiny Tony. Going to Yarhagul will also get us access to the Upper Cathedral Ward, which will be useful. And so as Mathota Sherry points out, Mikolash was praying to be granted eyes like Ram was. And as we talked about earlier with the eye rune and whatnot, in earlier drafts of the game, there were a couple names that got shifted around. So for example, Abritus, Daughter of the Cosmos, used to just be called Kos. So perhaps Mikolash could have been praying to Abritus, who we know has some affiliation with eyes. And that could help explain like the whole Ram statue down there as well. But at least in the retail builds of the game, maybe we just have to say Mikolash is crazy and doesn't know what he's talking about to make things make sense, unfortunately. Ritual Secret Broken, Seek the Nightmare Newborn. So I did double check the Japanese note on this, and it does not have brackets, but regardless, my interpretation of events is that this is still spoken to the player, just because there is no remnants of these notes. As to whom speaks this note to the player, I think there could be multiple answers, although I'm not particularly fond of any of them. Maybe the most likely could have been Queen Yharnam, since we just saw her. Others could argue that it comes from like the moon presence. I really dislike that one personally. That's just not how I read the game, but that doesn't make it invalid by any means. And other possibilities could then be like the doll or Gehrman instead. But since we do get like The doll's voiceover when we first enter the dream in the very opening cutscene. I think they would have like just used the voiceover here instead if they really wanted to go for that. So there is also the possibility that this isn't being spoken, but I feel like that's just kind of dissatisfactory. So maybe it's just a straight up dev hint. But going back to the actual content of the note, ritual secret broken, seek the nightmare newborn. It's more like the ritual's concealment has been broken, seek the nightmare newborn. So Ram was hiding the rituals from us, which is why we get teleported to Yahar'gul and can now advance through that section of the game properly. Charles has to go to bed, but the stream's too epic. Thank you very much, Charles. Hopefully you get to dream sweet dreams and all that fun stuff. I can't think of the doll's quote. May your awakening have significance, so something like that. May you find your worth in the waking world. I thought it was like the Japanese equivalent. Cute Glasses, welcome back in. Maybe it's not even spoken, but someone beaming a thought in your brain or something like that. So yeah, I'm using the term like spoken a bit liberally here. I think like you can make the telepathic thought part of that conversation as well. So thank you for bringing that up. It could make sense if Byrgenwerth killed Koss but covered it up, so Mikolash is praying to a dead god, and that might be where their attempts at contact failed. Maybe, but it is also worth pointing out that, like, Koss somewhat exists in the Hunter's Nightmare concurrently, so maybe she's not entirely dead. Mikolash is also wearing the student set, so he might have been part of Byrgenwerth, so that's like, why wouldn't he know what happened to her? I don't know, it just... I feel like the DLC, it adds some good things, but it really introduces some problems as well by having, like, Koss appears the way she did. You think Queen Yharnam teleported the Hunter to Yahar'gul? She can teleport in her boss fight. That's a possibility. Alright, thank you, Charles, and have a good night. Alright, so Murgo's crying a lot more now, which isn't to say that she wasn't earlier. I tend to call Murgo she, just because I think it's closer to the name Margot, which is more feminine. So when we come into Yahar'gul, we hear the Bell Maidens chiming in, summoning Yharnamites out of the blood in the ground. And when they die, they kind of explode in this extremely loud, like, black mist, which I call a nightmare mist. So that might be related to blood. I like to think of it as related to nightmares, but I mean, it is still related to blood just because they come out of blood in the ground. I think we get some more cold blood here. Yep. We get the statues of the little celestial larvae. And so one thought that I have, like my headcanon about these Yharnamites, are these are probably the dudes that we found in the cells our first time coming through this area. And they're just being reused for the purposes of Mensis' rituals. So as we look out into the distance, we can see some amygdalae clinging to the buildings, and the red moon has finally been revealed, which is related to the rituals of Mensis. So let's go back to the dream, level up, and switch our gems out again. Is the whole cage on head thing an amygdala cosplay? That's kind of how I look at it.
Well, very well.
I'm just going to keep pumping vitality because it's going to be annoying once we start to get to like the defiled dungeons.
Farewell, good hunt.
Oh, we're low on those. Let's repair. Aggressor says, Orphanage Koss can summon lightning, which happens to hit Koss's corpse. Do you think this lightning is sent by Koss herself? Yeah, it comes from her corpse first, which is really cool to notice and point out. So yeah, despite her being dead, I do think she has like some leftover power. Whether or not you want to say she's like conscious in the way that might relate to dreams and whatnot, I don't really know. So she might be dead, but I mean, is being dead really dead for Great Ones? Probably not. The Fishman Priest also had both attacks? Yes. Joseph was quoting Shakespeare? C Music says, you don't see why that implies that Ram was necessarily a human. She could be a phantasm that was granted eyes for all we know. I agree. So I think a lot of people take it for granted that Ram was a scholar, but there's really nothing in the game to support or deny it, honestly. So, very good points. Methota says, you guess then appearing in a puddle of blood, it relates to the text of the ritual blood and the skulls rising from it. So yeah, I'll probably talk about that more at some point. I feel like I need to sneeze. I know there's like the set down there. Okay, that was a chunk. I thought that was worth it. I'm just gonna run past these enemies. Because, I mean, they respawn until we kill the Bell Maidens, which is cool. Oh wow, they clipped me. And one of the cooler things that I like to show off about the Bell Maidens, damn it, is that when they die, the mist will fly out of the dudes that they've summoned. So it usually makes noise, but that sound design in this version. And that makes them mortal. So like the Nightmarish Mist makes them able to be reanimated. Ow. And with my personal belief that like the nightmares are related to the equivalent of the afterlife in Bloodborne, I mean, it just kind of works together fairly concisely, I think. Big head equals big brain. The cage helmet is just big brain cosplay. What about the enlarged head? Bolt Damp Blood Gem? Oh, that's got to be a really good one then. Tier 4. The Mensis ritual must be stopped, lest we all become beasts. I feel like it's unfortunate that this note doesn't appear in the Hypogean jail either. I mean, it's really straightforward. It's like, hey, the madmen beckoning the moon are going to make us all turn into beasts. Dead probably means nothingness if your consciousness can exist on another plane. Right. And that gets, becomes more relevant when we, like, get the Yharnam stone from Queen Yharnam. Because it does very explicitly point out, like, she's dead, her body is destroyed, but her consciousness persists in the nightmare, or the dream, or sleep. Gonna ignore these ladies. We're gonna go get our special key. There's another air rune off of a corpse in there. Why does she sound so close? Because she's under me. That's right. This way we go. Yeah. Oh, I didn't expect that to stagger it. Thank you, boys. Quicksilver, sweets. Okay. Derek says it's implied that Great Ones don't really die in spirit, with the Hunter's Nightmare occurring due to her will. I don't think the Hunter's Nightmare is specifically because of Great Ones. But I guess like the Hunter's Dream could arguably be a creation of a Great One just because of the umbilical cord. I don't know. I prefer to think that it's like the dreams just kind of exist as an afterlife, and if you have a strong enough will, you can kind of form it into a pseudo-reality in the dreamscape. So with Great Ones having super great wills, of course they'd have a stronger control of things. But when we look at the Hunter's Nightmare, since there's two versions of Cathedral Ward and like a small version of Central Yharnam, it makes me think that like the people within the dreams dream the dreams into existence, if that makes sense. Grizz says, the choir the higher up of the church who were really close in philosophy to that of Byrgenwerth. Yes, sort of, kind of. Well, we'll talk about that more. Upper Cathedral Key, we get that off the body of this choir member, which some people take to mean that, like, oh, this dude was taken prisoner, but it's worth noting that it's closed from the kind of from the inside, so you can't get in from the outside. You can just waltz on out. So maybe they shut themselves in here? But I mean, that's kind of a little bit of a moot point. But I feel like if there's more of an interfactional schism, we'd have a wider array of damage and more like infighting to be seen within the factions of the Healing Church. So I personally don't like to look at it that way, but that's how others feel about this particular corpse. Where's the threaded cane when you need it? Okay. Being dead certainly didn't stop the bound women, and they're not even great ones, yeah. So that's why I also believe like the blood allows people to transcend death. Because it does. Like, we see that all the time. It is kind of interesting that these NPCs don't completely disappear after their bound women, or not bound women, their time maidens die. I forget how much they can turn with that. Just because in the Chalice dungeons, whenever you kill the bound women, they lose all their NPCs. So yeah, this thing's like already a mummy. And I guess I should have pointed out like the child mummies that exist. Well, let's get the Tiny Tony and try to remember to use it, even though I really don't have the Quicksilver bullets for it. Oh, I guess I never read the Empty Phantasm Shell, did I? Empty invertebrate shell that is said to be the familiar of a great one. The Healing Church has discovered a great variety of invertebrates, or phantasms as they are called. The shells with slime still harbor arcane power and can be rubbed on weapons to imbue them with their strength. So there's a few interesting differences between some of these descriptions. Obviously the Augur Vibritus got changed a bit later on because they call them spirits here, but in this version like of the Phantasm Shell they're still called phantasms, which is important. Another note is they call the Empty Phantasm Shells familiars of Great Ones in this. But it uses the exact same term as the Augur in Augur Vibritus. So I would say that the phantasms are augurs of great ones, like just signs of great ones to come. He is shackled though? I mean, all of the Mensis people are shackled. Okay, let's pull out the torch and show it off. This dude has a black glove on. He's a fake choir member. Theirs is white. I don't really see shackles on this one. Like, you're talking about the chains, that's actually just part of the uniform. We showed that off with Yuri. But I appreciate the call out, even if it didn't work out. Because I'm fine with being proven wrong. Get to learn something new. That's interesting. Okay. You've got Edgar spying on Mensis, Damien being summonable for Ram, who's guarded by Yuri, Ebritus, the choir pet great one. Yeah. I don't know. Like I've said before in the previous streams, I personally don't place a lot of lore significance on the summons, just because they weren't in the base game, which I guess isn't fair, but I don't know, that's just how I personally feel about the base game. Wait, did all the... Oh yeah, they chased me. I was like, did they all disappear? No, they were just chasing me. So let's go unlock the shortcut that we skipped. Get the air rune and whatnot. Nizaki really does not shy away from dead children. And Mensis literally kidnap people. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. That's true. And so these people are like more shackled prisoner type things. Definitely have shackles on them. In cages. Like praying towards the walls or just like cowering in fear, I guess. But at least that cage is openable from the outside, maybe not so much the inside. This is the air rune. And it's kind of funny that it's on that dude, because he doesn't really seem like a hunter. And the other time we get the air rune is from Henrik. Joseph keeps thinking about this theme of formlessness and ephemeral somehow synthesizing corporeal manifestations, like how the blood can coagulate to manifest physical objects like jelly, gems, and stones. Yeah, that kind of stuff is pretty cool. I kind of wish there's more to it in Bloodborne, but at the very least, in terms of like kind of getting inspired by the game for like writing and whatnot, I think that kind of stuff's fun to think about. Alright, let's just skip these ladies and get them killed by Amy. Eh. So you don't light the lantern immediately when you come in the area, because then you'll most likely miss out on getting the Wandering Madness right there. We get some 2 chunks. I think we're a little bit shy of being able to upgrade. Amy just killed all of those women for us, which is very sweet. I think this is just cold blood or a man's knowledge. Oh, a chunk. Definitely worth it then. Okay. So I haven't really talked about these statues. I think these could potentially be related to the ones that you'd find in like Byrgenwerth. They're almost a bit closer to what you'd see with an amygdala, perhaps. Just like amalgamations of dead bodies and people praying. But they kind of got like more of the head shape going on, just with like the lack of eyes. But they have multiple arms, at least. And I think this is also kind of like a bastardization of the kinds of statues we can find throughout the Chalice dungeons that have like skeletons crawling up the sides. But yeah, I don't really know fully. He has one sock too. The choir gloves are black? Okay. I thought they were white. Oh, I'm thinking of the white surgical one. Because of the... No, I don't know. What's up with that big lamp in the prison anyway? Which lamp? Do we think Amy is lined with menses or just a predator that likes to laser people? So why are the amygdalae chilling in Yharnam? That's a really good question. They could also be attracted to the cries of Virgo. I'm not sure. But at the very least, we do know that the School of Mensis venerates them. So maybe they found a way to either commune with them with their like little cages or tonsil stones or something else. Because we do find patches like Nightmare Apostles in the Nightmare of Mensis as well. Mr. Lolster says, don't they look like the enemies on Yharnam streets? Oh, you mean like cramped caskets? Yeah, they do look like cramped caskets. But these ones are like petrified for some reason. So maybe they are meant to be the same. I'll try to take a closer look when we get down there. But thank you for bringing that up. So yeah, I didn't point out the amygdalae earlier. This one's like the only aggro one in the area. There's a chill passive one down there. So it'll like look at you as you walk by and everything. And then I guess there are a couple sort of aggro ones. Alright, I'm gonna come back to this area later once we like get the elevator back up. What I want to do is double check to see if we get a point of insight by getting frenzied by the other amygdala that can grab us. I'm pretty confident we don't, but I just wanted to make sure. So that's the other amygdala I was talking about, the really passive one. Then this one will grab you, and then this one will laser you. One of the cool things, which I didn't show off yet, about the amygdalae is that when they laser, their eyes will kind of pop out of their heads a bit more. And this one's eyes are like always visible though. But they do kind of grow a little bit. See, they pop back in its head. And the same is true for even like the boss fight. we unlocked that, so I'll just proceed through the area. We killed this. The one next to the corpse praying to the wall in the cage in that area with the Bell Maiden. Why does it have a big lantern? Let's double check. Oh, you mean like the super big lantern type things? The Almond Head game? I was wondering if I was going to run into that. The statues remind you of the bulbous nightmare growths in the nightmare. Like, they weren't actually sculpted like that, but they're bubbling out of a more traditional statue. Love the different types of the eyes on the heads of the Amy's. Very cool attention to detail. They kind of remind me of, like, the Sharingan from, like, Naruto almost. You mean, like, these lanterns? Yeah, I don't really know what the deals with those are. They might be, like, a real thing. And then another thing that I tend to forget to bring up in the streams, just because I don't really think about it too much, is we do find, like, a decent number of mirrors throughout Yharnam. And since Mikolash can jump through the mirrors in his boss fight, some people have wondered whether or not mirrors and baths are some of the methods that Mensis would have used to attain access to the nightmare. One of the cooler things in the lecture hall, which I forgot to show off this stream as well, is there is like a diagram on the chalkboard that shows how light gets refracted in lenses and things like that. And it's a real formula that some people have like shown online on Reddit as well. So there is like some kind of real pseudoscience-y type stuff that they incorporated into the game in some surprising locations. Funny thing is, if you break Amy's head when she does that laser attack, she'll have her eyes out until she does it again. Interesting, I didn't know that. Shh, no. I got stun locked. Sad thing is, I wasn't trying to attack that dog either. You've never been able to look at a church steeple the same way after this game? Who knows what's hanging on top there? You love the lamps? The ones that are like symmetrical four ways? Again, Grisester points out we do jump into reflection in the moon of the lake of Byrgenwerth to get the Ram. And when we do get teleported into Yharnam, we come out of a bath that we use to like teleport throughout the stage. So, even before coming to the Blood Moon phase of the game, there's like these random mummified corpses of like children in chairs. And of course, like the earlier builds of the game, like the chairs were warp chairs and could transport people to the dreams, which is another reason why it's a shame that they got switched to lanterns a little bit. But yeah, the Mensis ritual must have occurred some time ago, since even at the very beginning of the game, like those figures were present. I wonder. Really? Okay. Sweet. That's one way to do it. I guess that would have been smarter if I could have killed these dudes first. Or if I could have killed him in one hit. I usually just kill the two smaller dudes off the side first. But I thought I had a bright idea. Oh. It's a hard knock life. They remind you of mandalas and or fractal bulbs seen art like in Jim Woodring's Frank? Who? Okay. That's a dead kid. Have you ever thought about doing a vid on in real life pseudoscience in the game, including the actual medical consumption of human blood in European history? You don't think you've ever seen a vid discussing it? I guess I haven't thought about it, but that's a good idea. I mean, I have thought about making a video about potential inspirations for the games, so I guess I could think about that in the future. I mean, that's not a bad idea at all. I just need to remember to do it and get around to doing it. That's the hard part right there. Do you think the petrified people have been dead for years, or is it something that happened that same night because the village looks decrepit? I think it must have happened beforehand, because even when we first came into this location, this corpse was here. So I can't prove it, but my initial idea would be maybe these people got teleported into the Nightmare of Mensis when the tragedy of Old Yharnam happened. So we got the gank squad down there. There will be 3 hunters that I don't really feel like facing right now. Maybe when we make the arcane rifle spear build work. Did I fight Parl? No, I didn't. Oh yeah, and we didn't do the Jura stuff. It's not that big a deal. So we can skip the gank squad if we've unlocked this shortcut from earlier. And one of the coolest things about coming through Yarhagul the second time around is, I mean, the Blood Moon's out. That's super cool. We don't have pigs. We've got the cramped caskets. There is a resemblance, but these have way, way, way more corpses. But we can also kite the corpses into those like little lantern things that'll chime when we get near. Oh, she actually did an attack. That's cool. And I believe if those corpses get hit 3 times, they get extinguished. But one of the cooler things about the cramped ones is they get like that kind of... Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. That was freaky. They get like the kind of arcane fire on them as well. And they're kind of bleeding the entire time. The equivalent of Bloodborne mimics. Just imagine going to the Chalice dungeons and getting like grabbed by one of those. Oh yeah. So I have wondered whether or not like these cramped caskets were always here and the pigs we saw were just cramped caskets transformed, or like not transformed but covered up, I guess. I accidentally extinguished it. I was going to try to show off like a sound effect. We'll find a few more of those. Daniel Moore, welcome in. Do you think the lanterns and the messengers are also neat? Either way, warp chairs or lanterns. Mega Blair asks, so Old Yharnam and the dead people on the walls of Yarhagul happened at the same time? Maybe. I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts as to what could have potentially happened. Behold, a pale blood sky. It's finally out in the open here. So this is what the note is trying to tell us. But I mean, it's extremely obtuse. I wouldn't have put it together if it had not been for Miyazaki's interview. Because I look at this and I'm like, oh, yep, pale blood, all right. No, not at all. What's the lore behind the body fire lantern things? There is no lore, which really sucks. So my personal headcanon is they're probably like arcane amplifiers to make the Mensis rituals, or at least the One Reborn ritual stronger. There had been a thought in the community for a while that extinguishing a certain number of them would affect the mechanics of the One Reborn fight. And that sounds so cool, but just isn't true, unfortunately. So we get the Iron Yarhagul helm. So that kind of completes the Yarhagul set that we already picked up from earlier in our first foray through here. And this just brings us back towards the beginning of the stage. We get the militia, and here's the lantern where we first came into. Well, here's the lantern, and this is the corpse that I forgot to show off, and of all the statues in the Red Moon. So I do want to get grabbed by this Amygdala, sort of, just to test it out for science. I'm pretty confident you don't get frenzied from him, or you don't get insight from him. Or her, as I tend to call them. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I think it's really unfortunate that this one can't grab the NPCs. That would have been so cool and funny. Holy crap, really? That's not how I expected things to happen. Yeah, Grisester says they most likely used to be the Bloodborne mimics. Little concrete info on most things in Yharnam, so all we have is on those is speculation. You know what? I don't remember if I actually talked about those specific enemies, or not enemies, those specific lantern dudes in my video about Yharnam. I think I did. But maybe I didn't say that they were like arcane amplifiers. I'm pretty sure I would have, but I'm blanking. Those body lanterns are also in the Chalice dungeons. You think they're just people that got targeted by a Great One? Just like the Make Contact guy? Hey, Dark Souls, not really helmet. Yeah. Dancer, sorry to still be on the Yharnam lamp thing. H.P. Lovecraft also uses trisymmetry in the Elder Things as a tool to make them seem more other to us, bisymmetrical human beings. Okay. Taken down? Oh, just by the enemies? I got ripped. Wow, that dude still lived. Oh, I forgot to grab my echoes. Well, it's not worth stopping right there. Do these things not get debuffed? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't. So, I think in the final version of the game, once you kill the Bell Maiden, you can kill most of these things in like 1 or 2 hits. And that would explain why the brick trolls remain so tanky after killing them. Because I was surprised that it took 2 viscerals, and not just like a visceral and maybe a stray hit or 2. It's not a terribly big deal, it's just interesting, I guess. He lived. The carrot symmetry aliens. Alright, so now we should be able to test. Let me record this just for the heck of it. What? Oh, this one doesn't give us frenzy. Is that different? We need to pump that arcane? Probably. The antidote sounds also different, like a deeper pitch. I left an item upstairs. That one? Okay. Does that bell sound a little different in this version? Maybe. Interesting. Do you find it really interesting some Yharnamites actually wear the church's attire? Down to the surgical gloves? No shawl, though. This dude's rifle does a ridiculous amount of damage. if you get too close. I guess maybe more of a shotgun than a rifle. I don't know. I can do a lot of damage even from afar, but trying to remember if there's a reason to go to the other cramped caskets that we saw earlier, or whether or not the shortcut is just more worthwhile. I think the shortcut typically is. That dude's got a chunk. The snatcher that wasn't there before. I don't remember if there's an item over there. No. Oh yeah, I usually used Molotovs. And now this time around... we've also got our arcane stuff to deal with these things. Or not. It's kind of funny. Where'd the other ones go? I kind of want to try the tiny Tonitrus, but I don't know how well it scales off the Z-plane. And I don't want to waste, like, however many bullets it is. It's afraid of that? Okay, let's try this. Oh, I can't hit him. No. That was a ridiculous amount of damage, holy crap. Beast Hunter Damp Gem. Oh, so they weren't even around an item. And then we're gonna get ganked. Did we hurt it? It's still in there. Didn't rally enough. Whatever. Hey, 2 chunks from a snatcher and a kin hunter gem. Christoph, welcome back. Good evening to you and morning to you. Good to see you all. Thank you. I like how the Amy takes a moment before squishing you, like it's deciding if you're worth its time. I thought in the retail version of the game, it waits until you're completely frenzied before teleporting you. The helm is detailed with some very elaborate markings, but due to the rusted over appearance, they're very hard to make out unless you can catch them in the light. So, yeah, let's actually show off the Yargul set. I wonder how the lighting is next to this thing. I mean, I can always pull out the torch, but... whatever. Interesting. They just kind of look like ripples. Is that from my head? Yeah, that is from the head. Okay. And so these are like the chiming skeletal dudes. And there's nothing else because we've already been through this area and picked it up. So we got some chunks. So it's not the worst run. The wagons are rocking, don't come a knocking. I think I said that verbatim the last stream that we played through here. Tiny Tony's underwhelming, unfortunately. Too much bullet use. Yeah, too little damage. I was thinking, and this is sort of unrelated to that. Like, if I was going to rebalance some of the game, one of the things that I'd want to do... I guess I should have used the emergency bullets and then just rallied the health back right then. Is You could have like rebalanced some of the, like the Udin runes, the Quicksilver bullet runes, by increasing how many emergency bullets you got from them. I guess I didn't kill that dude. Oh yeah, and there's the treasure up there, which I didn't loot. The jawbones also feel like detail. It's just frenzied cold blood. Is Vaso here inside the cart of the camp casket breaks out of? Yeah, but you don't really see anything. Oh, and this one was... I'm pretty sure this wasn't broken the first time we came through Yargul. Which would suggest more of a time difference as opposed to like a perception difference. Uh-oh. Stop hitting me! My plan did not work out at all. I'm trying to think if I just want to YOLO through this area. We picked up those madman's knowledges. Pretty sure there's chunks in the building to the right though. And we get to see like a bunch of people trying to escape through the walls. They've melted into them. Just really cool. Where's the door? Oh, it's over here. It's further in than I remembered. I typically don't come in the front way like this, though. Then we get our first corpse beast. Damn it. Oh, holy crap, it shot me from in here? Is it in here? Did it follow me? Or is this the second story guy? Probably the second story guy. Damn it, twins. Sometimes? No, I don't think those ones can drop chunks. You think those guys are good as illustration why the Yharnamites chained their coffins closed? Yeah, so that's one of the cooler theories in the lore community that... I wasn't close enough. That the blood might actually make the dead revive entirely, so that's why there's so many chained up corpses throughout, or chained up coffins throughout the entire game, because they didn't want their dead to keep reanimating and like killing everybody. I love this effect right here. And as we come closer to the One Reborn arena, the Advent Plaza, we can hear like chanting coming from the direction of the moon, but I think it's actually just the plaza itself. I might directionalize it as we get a little bit closer. I think there's a rune down there. I tend to forget which one it is. This will take us to 2 dogs and a corpse beast and a madman's knowledge, and I think just a static chunk that'll be worth going to. Oh, we've got a lot of echoes right now. Holy crap. Don't these things actually have a real projectile to shoot at us? Yeah. I think like Lance showed it off and it was like a bone. It was something crazy like a bone or something. It's either to keep the reanimated corpses or to stop people from pillaging bodies for their ritual materials. And that's another good possibility that Grisester brings up. Between like the ritual materials and how many... That's scary. What was it saying? Ritual materials plus what? Oh yeah, how many like incense burners there are which use human bodies, there's definitely some incentive to maybe try to preserve the remains of your loved ones from just being grave looted. I was gonna try to have, like, run into that. Sweet. Any others? Okay, so those, just those two. Sweet. That worked out. I think these guys do resort to melee attacks, don't they? When you get too close? Yeah, okay. Maybe not. Okay. Egg hunters. So that's all from this section, and now we get Madman's knowledge over here. Similar to eating bodies, its humanity makes the rats grow so large in Dark Souls. Maybe the dogs and crows drink whatever blood they found lying around. Yeah, so the crows are called carrion crows, so they do eat the bodies of dead people. So they're presumably getting blood that way. The boars are called man-eater boars. Go figure. So they're getting blood that way. And the hunting dogs could also be like consuming the flesh of crows, boars, or even perhaps people. So that might be how they got blood themselves. The sad thing is I can't even buy blood rocks in this version of the game, hoarding all this insight to not really use it. Which I probably should start using it before we go to the Nightmare of Mensis. So this is the stuff that I like to show off. We get like these petrified corpses of the Yharnamites fleeing something. But they also seem to be fleeing in different directions. So it seemed like whatever came into Yarhargul to scare them would have come in like right about this area. They're not like fleeing from the Advent Plaza like you might expect at first. They're like fleeing in all directions almost. So it'd have to have been like around here. Alright, so I think that's it for this section other than like the corpse beast that I skipped. Yeah, let's go deal with that corpse beast and pick up the prizes over there. And then fight the One Reborn. Does the One Reborn have decent arcane resistance? I really wouldn't know. The Forbidden Woods use rabbit corpses for the incense, if you remember correctly, and the chalices they use dogs, so it's not just human. That's an interesting point. I didn't even think about like the potential of those sacrificed corpses to have been for incense purposes. I think there's less corpses in this room, in this version. I think there's less ornamentation. I thought they had like actual legitimate statues in the retail. Yeah, I'm hitting something. So maybe they're just not loaded in right now. Okay, that's interesting. So this is one of the baths, which will teleport us to a different location. It's pretty cool stuff. Inspect bath. Those giant pigs. Do you think it's a Pompeii-like situation where they're buried and they've been carved out of the stone? That's an interesting thought. I don't think so, just because like they still have clothes on. The clothes seem relatively unscathed or undamaged. I don't know. That's a really good question. One Reborn is weak to bolt. Interesting. I don't remember what lady spawns the dogs in. I don't remember if they respawn either. Two chunks. This is probably enough to upgrade the weapon to +9. I really like this corpse piece because it gives you the chance to inspect it and see that it's got a leg for a tail, which is kind of hilarious to me, despite how gross it really is. The bodies in Pompeii are plaster casts. There's definitely supposed to be statues there. Yeah, I thought so. Bath giving off Lord Vessel vibes, definitely, especially with like the root-like lattice structure beneath it. True, and how they fit into the stonework doesn't make sense now that you think about it. You love how some enemies just linger there. So I think like the hidden lore of this dude is that like this corpse piece is probably like feasting on the beast or the corpse in front of it. Wait, no, yeah, these corpses do stay in the retail version. I was like, don't they normally disappear? No, they stay. Okay. Some twins and some chunks. Perfect. I could go to the dream and spend everything, or I could just, you know, live on the edge of the Tower Knight 2.0 fight. The funny thing is, since I played Demon Souls after Bloodborne, obviously, by the time I got to Tower Knight, I knew exactly what to do, due to everyone calling the One Reborn Tower Knight 2.0. Actually, killing the boss is a little bit interesting, though, because I didn't know that it was just kind of a straightforward fight after the fact. Or, like, just how tanky he was, and just kind of, like, hit and run. So, my apologies for any spoilers for Demon Souls if you haven't played it. Imagine if the One Reborn's theme was similar to the Tower Knight's, considering its arena layout and enemy placement is said as a reference to Tower Knight. Or the Peaceful Carrion Crow and Hammock. I think that one was aggro against us this game. You might want to double check that. Bolt paper. Oh yeah, we're using the fire stuff. Beast blood pellets, and then we can switch to Tiny Tony later. It was the reverse for you. Demon Souls was the first Souls game you played. On PS3 you got it. PS Plus for free. Yeah, I didn't have the PS3. I definitely would have picked it up on PS Plus if I could. Oh yeah, the boss doesn't spawn and we actually get a cutscene. Oh, I forgot to do the directional thing for the chanting. You like the Penetrator fight? Did you have a boss that really got that adrenaline flowing? Penetrator didn't get my adrenaline flowing, but I did like the fight. I just wish he had like a second phase or a few extra moves. I felt like that for a lot of the bosses in Demon Souls. Alont was like the only fight that I thought was actually like really good. I would have liked Maneater more if the AI was better, which I think everyone can agree on. Bow witches being part of the ritual make you wonder if they're allied with Mensis and where they come from? Yeah, that's something that I've wondered myself. It's really annoying that they appear here and do their thing this entire time. Because, like, we have a portrait of Bell Maidens in Canehurst. They're described explicitly as Tumerian madwomen. So it's like, what the hell is the deal with these things? Do they just show up, like, wherever they can to cause havoc? Did the Tumerians still have some random ass plans we don't know about? It's... yeah, I don't know. I guess we do get some more Quicksilver bullets in here. If we wanted it. I don't really know what the middle ones do, but I don't really think the One Reborn gets buffed by them, or healed or anything. Alright, let's try out the Tiny Tony, and then switch to the Beast Blood. Hopefully we don't get, like, UI screwed. And, like, he doesn't kill us with acid that we can't see. I mean, that's even a problem on retail. Yeah, that was okay. Kinda not worth it, though. Alright, yeah, we're probably just better off doing the Beast Blood and hopefully not getting clipped. Oh, interesting. Oh no, that's acid, that's acid. Okay, that's not the full arena acid, though. Oh, that is. Hey. Yeah, my first time fighting the One Reborn, I totally died. Because I didn't see the acid. And I was like, why am I taking damage? And I'm pretty confident, like, it wasn't really my fault. It just couldn't be seen. I just rolled into that. Oh. That was extra acid. I'm kind of playing this poorly just because I don't take this fight too seriously. Poor Tiny sucks so much. Yeah. Imagine getting stomped by the One Reborn. Actually, I don't really remember seeing so much stuff spit out of it. I wonder if that was like a difference in the AI over time. And he does more attacks on 1.0. If this dude could chill, that'd be cool. If I could break a limb, that'd be cooler too. There we go. This is when I need to be split and I didn't. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. That'll probably, like, allow me to end the play. Or not. Can't see what's going on. Oh, that almost killed me right at the end. I just didn't need to heal, but whatever. Sweet. We can return to the Hunter's Dream, but that's kind of like a gratuity lamp, especially since we can get teleported to the next area right away. Like, they do give you a lot more lamps in Bloodborne compared to Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls, but I don't really understand why people complain about it too much. There's definitely more shortcuts to make the lamps feel a bit more redundant, but it's more of a quality of the life thing, which is nice. Maybe better for, like, teleporting back rather than anything else. I didn't talk about that at all. Alright, well... we most likely interacted with the corpse of Mikolash to enter the Nightmare, the lecture hall on the second floor. Don't eat the pellet, it only works for physical damage. That makes so much more sense. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I didn't read that at all. It gives me more to spend my insight on later. Oh wow, one short. Okay. I don't know if we got anything super cool from the Kin Hunter stuff. Definitely no waning. But maybe they'll have some cool secondary effects. Doesn't really look like it. Would that influence the fire damage to everything? Because this might actually be worthwhile if we're not getting more buffs. Okay. Voice files for One Reborn are very interesting too. Wish you could hear them more clearly. Beware loud sound. Personally, don't see a lot of connections to Lovecraft and Bloodborne, mostly surface level stuff. That's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Lovecraft. I've read a few things, but I think it's just more like a cosmetic inspiration, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like some people take it as rationale to stop looking at the game, which is really unfortunate. But that should be good.
Farewell, good handmaid.
Not even blood damage gets any kind of boost from Beasthood, and it behaves like the subtype of physical damage in all other instances. Okay. Interesting. Learning the finer mechanics of the game that I didn't have to worry about for not doing, like, more meta builds before. Yeah, I was going to equip the Eye Rune in place of something, so maybe the Moon Rune. Although the Research Hall, or not Research Hall, the Upper Cathedral Ward's a pretty good place to farm for Echoes in the base game. Echoes in chunks. So I think we'll go there next. Pumped at arcane. The fun of it is all open to interpretation. A lot of stuff is. Oh yeah, I haven't been talking to the NPCs at all. So after the One Reborn, Ariana starts to get pregnant. Oh damn it! I didn't do her 5 blood vial thing. To get her nightmare dialogue. I've shown it off before, but it's just kind of nice to do. What do we all think the One Reborn is? Your headcanon is that he's the Bellringer who's trying to return all the lost Mensa scholars. Yeah, I don't really know. It could be the people of Yharnam. I personally think it could be that they're trying to recreate an Amygdala, although it'd be weird that the Bell Maidens would be into it, as opposed to just like the Mensa scholars. But yeah. You can put Beast Hunter on the Spear. It's not very good, but it's better than nothing. Game made by a Japanese company with his aesthetics is more successful than he ever was in life when he wrote a Yellow Peril Paranoia story. Sucks to suck. We did help Eileen. She would be over by the Great Cathedral. So I wonder if our Vile Blood friend has already fallen through the map. Because it's completely broken on this version of the game. I guess we could also go to Canehurst to get the Corruption Rune. To show some like of the Blood Drag mechanics off. Because it's a complete mess in this version of the game. Whenever you kill any NPC, you'll get one on 1.0. Joe Brown was huge on Lovecraft in high school. What comes from him is just the general concept of higher beings that are outside human comprehensions, and there's a fishing town where bad men come from. That and like the Dreamlands, but yeah. But to be fair, that's like pretty basic stuff. Like even you can make the argument that Lovecraft is essentially inspired by the Bible and some like Hebrew stories. So yeah. You could make the argument that it's, like, beyond that, but I mean, the whole stuff with Insight is kind of more Lovecraft-adjacent. Insight and, Frenzy. But even that has, like, some Buddhist parallels, like, not, like, a ton of straightforward ones, but... The dream stuff can arguably trace back to Lovecraft, but the dream cycle works in all. The dream cycle stuff is definitely more of his interesting work. Oh, no. Just jump in front of somebody's line of fire, why don't you? I think it's actually been mentioned, but her model is actually pregnant at this point. I think I meant to say that, but I guess I didn't. Yeah. So, she starts to get like a little bit pregnant. I know that's kind of oxymoronic, but it's true. Her complexion becomes a bit more pale. She starts to get a little bit of a baby bump. I feel robbed of not getting Quicksilver bullets from that dude. I always expect to get 4 Quicksilver bullets from a guy in a wheelchair because of the dude in Central Yharnam. It's just hard to tell when she's hunched over. Yeah. I think it was Santa DSK, which made the really good video like showing off the different models of Ariana. And once you see that, it becomes really apparent when they're kind of used. Quicksilver bullets. I could have bought the threaded cane just to deal with the brain sucker inside, but whatever. We'll make do. This might be my favorite area in the game. I keep thrusting because I'm used to it. Interesting thing is you can get Ariana's dialogue and rescue Adela in the same playthrough. Yeah. You just need to do it before everything. Some more blue elixirs. I don't think I read that. I'm not going to worry about that too much. It'll come up again shortly here. Well, not here, but... Or not shortly, but... Short enough. I'd like to buy some damage, please. Not from you. Yeah. Oh, dang it. I didn't get the lantern, did I? Oh, that was so silly of me. I should have played more careful. I thought I would have killed him in the one hit. Big oof. Right, I'm just gonna run past everything again. I say again like I did it the first time. I guess it's a little bit longer around the entire building than I thought. It's easier to avoid the brick troll though. And not like accidentally run off. Alright, let's go get our lantern and then deal with everything. This might be my favorite area in the game. I think I just said that a little bit ago, but maybe I didn't. I really like the what's the word? Atmospherics? Ambience. Whatever. Of the, like, chiming effect of the choir. I do not have a lot of echo. It's okay. Oh god. Well, at least we got the lantern. You love the partying Scourge Beasts up on the chandelier here? They're just having fun. Killing an enemy as they kill you looks kinda cool. Orphanage made your hand shake? Yeah. Lovecraft was also inspired by the fact that he had awful nightmares, and Death Machen, whose work went on to influence a lot of weird fiction writers. It's not the genre, it's the writers who are the weirdos. So I love these statues. These dudes remind me of like the fishing priest, or the fishing hamlet priests. I don't know if that's actually what they're supposed to be, or maybe if they're like these things but bigger. One of the coolest things about these guys is they're not really aggro, and after a while they'll stop and like pull their hands up like they're praying towards potentially a Brightus. So they'll fold their hands once they stop. So they're like revering what's ever there. We get another rune here. Great Lake. I should probably leave them. I don't think they give us a lot of blood echoes. And these things, when they touch you, they can deal frenzy damage. And I think these are like the statues that we see all throughout the Cathedral Ward, or not Cathedral Ward, but Yharnam and the Forbidden Woods, but like the live versions essentially. Celestial larvae. And they might have a connection to Amygdala, just based on what we see in Yharnam. They've also got like the little chest cavity. But, I mean, it really extends up to their heads as well. So whether or not they're related to Brightus or Amy is kind of up for interpretation. So I'm just gonna like run past things here for the most part. And then like open up the shortcut and then probably call it here for the nights. There's Frenzied Cold Blood. I'm pretty sure that was trash, so try to remember that next time if there is one. We'll get the choir set from the Brainsucker corpse. Not like actually from the Brainsucker. Huh. I thought that was too early, but whatever. I'll take it. Oh, it lived? I've been having like the worst luck with enemies having 1 HP. Praying to Flora? I don't know if it's supposed to be Flora or Brightus. Oh. I deal a decent amount of damage, probably because of the fire. Fire set? Ooh, and a Shaman Bone Blade. I guess it is black, yeah. Okay. Attire of the choir, high-ranking members of the Healing Church. Members of the choir are both the highest-ranking clerics of the Healing Church, and scholars who continue the work that began at Byrgenwerth. Together with the left-behind Great One, they look to the skies in search of astral signs that may lead them to the rediscovery of true greatness. So that just goes back into like the choir being related to Brightus, which will get more clear when we look at the Great Eyes Chalice. And I forgot to look at the Upper Cathedral key. The key to the Upper Cathedral Ward seal. The upper echelons of the Healing Church are formed by the School of Mensis, based in the Unseen Village, and the choir occupying the Upper Cathedral Ward. This key brings one step closer to the choir. So this does establish that the School of Mensis is part of the Healing Church. Some people tend not to believe that, maybe just because they don't know that this key says it explicitly. Like if it hadn't been for the key, like you really could think that they were the remnants of Byrgenwerth. Oh, we did more damage to that than I was expecting. Beast to wreak the flame, who would have thought? The little wings on their backs are interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot to point those out. Those are cool. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit him with this weapon. Especially not if it backs off. Okay. Brightus does look like a bigger celestial child? Yeah. And then everybody's favorite chandelier references go here. So we got the Scourge Beast just chilling up top. I thought there was a second... Okay, it's over there. I thought it was to the left. I guess it's on the right. I don't know if the position's changed. Let's record this just for the laughs. Oh, so there was a third one. Now their eyes are blue. So even in the retail build of the game, the sound gets really messed up here because like your camera probably tries to clip the audio from behind the wall that I'm facing, and so you can't really hear the Scourge Beast too well if we're like this far back. As I said before, like with the blue elixirs, I didn't look at them yet. I do think they're important. I think the choir was probably experimenting with blue elixirs, which is why we've got Scourge Beast with blue eyes, red dragon. I know it's a white dragon and whatnot, but just screwing around. Bro, that other one still has like 1 HP. Did I kill the other one? Okay. Very occasionally they will drop chunks. Mostly shard or twins. This door is locked over here. And we'll pick up some more blue elixirs in this building, and then I'll read it when it gets relevant again. That sound bugs makes it sound like you're underwater. Yeah, that is kind of ironic. Blue-eyed Scourge Beast, transformed choir member? Yay or nay? I'm inclined to believe so, because we are like in the orphanage where the choir resides, and we don't get any members. So, other than that, like there would be essentially no members of the choir. This is a dangerous spot. I guess it didn't see me. So we got the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge. But I do want to kill the Brain Sucker. I don't know if they drop gems, but they might. I'm pretty sure they don't, but... Also, if I can just actually kill them quickly. Revenge for all the times they did this suck. Oh crap, only 2 hits. That's amazing. Okay, Shaman Boneblade. What did we pick up? The Eye Watcher badge. Badge of a member of the choir leads to the healing church. The eye signifies the very cosmos. The choir stumbled upon an epiphany, very suddenly and quite by accident. Here we stand, feet planted in the earth. But might the cosmos be very near us, only just above our heads? I like that description overall. It should be no surprise that it's like the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge is associated with the stars. Even in the English, it's very apparent there's a lot of overlaps between the cosmos and Abritus and all that kind of arcane type stuff. But one thing that's a little bit muted in the English is that the Lumenflower Garden is called more like the Starflower Garden. So the kanji that they use for Lumenflower is like a sunflower, but instead of sun they use the star character. And part of the reason why I say that as being like relevant to what I'm looking at right now is instead of just like Cosmic Eye Watcher badge, it's more like Star Eye Watcher badge, and Abritus is called like Daughter of the Stars and stuff like that. And Celestial Emissaries are like attendants to the stars, messengers of the stars, things like that. Oh yeah, let's open the big door. Wait, no, do we need to kill the Brain Sucker to do that? Yeah, I think we do. Pretty confident. Yeah, okay. So we hear them up there. Mathota says, if the blue-eyed wolves had adjusted blue elixirs, wouldn't they be transparent? Well, they might have a strong enough will, but at the very least, their transformation as Scourge Beasts are slightly different. Isn't there a Brain Sucker that's going to suck me? Two chunks. Perfect. Why does he have a voice? You're a Brain Sucker, sir. No poise for you. Actually, I've never tried to Shaman Boneblade the other 2 Brain Suckers up top. That might be worthwhile. Probably not. I could probably just kill him quickly. This is Shaman Boneblade, super slow. So this is where we get more of the blue elixirs, which very firmly attaches it to the choir. I'm glad I rolled back. I wasn't thinking about doing it at first, but the grab is deceptively long-ranged. And we get Pearl Slugs. So Pearl Slugs, Blue Elixirs, Augur of Arbritus, all this stuff is really related to the choir. And the Pearl Slugs are what we use to grant, like actually access the Great Eyes Chalice once we get it. Love the theory that says the nightmares are placed on top of the other. Yeah, I think it's a probably like beyond theory, to be honest. I think it's just like a fact to a certain degree. We get the Orphanage key, which is an automatic drop, which is cool, pretty rare. And then some Quicksilver bullets. We can unlock that and get our cool gesture. You think the beast could also be captured from the streets, perhaps? But that said, you don't know the idea of being able to capture and subdue them is all that realistic. Make contact. It's going to be super important. I forgot to point out that it says talk to this thing before, and then there's nothing else. I'll talk about make contact more when we do the Brain of Metza stuff. So that's pretty much it for the Orphanage. Despite it being like super creepy, it's actually a pretty short area, all things considered. There's literally only one more enemy to kill in here. And then we have a boss. Sort of. But before that boss, I'm actually going to go back to the Hunter's Dream, switch out the gems for bolt stuff and kin damage, because I can. The make contact gesture makes you think of a crescent moon. It's interesting that you say crescent moon. It wouldn't be the one that I would go to first. I don't know if these celestial emissaries drop anything, but if they do, that'd be cool. Okay. Oh, wait. I didn't even get any blood echoes for that, did I? I feel cheated. Don't kill the brain, bro. It's innocent. I didn't say I was going to kill it. I said when we do it. Like the gesture. Of course. Brain did nothing wrong. Oh, that's not true. It looked at me funny. And that you can't deny. Alright, so level up.
Welcome. What is?
Oh yeah, and we can also level up the weapon.
Farewell.
Let's go with the bolts. It's interesting that fire overrides. Maybe it's because of the position of the gems themselves. There's the Kin Hunter. So yeah, quite a bit more damage to the Kin overall with the bolts and everything. The gesture, of course, nervous sweating. It threw me off for a long time that the Upper Cathedral Ward Warp, as well as the Lumen Flower Garden, are attached to this tombstone. It feels like they should be on the later ones. Bonk. Live. Bro, what is my luck with like literally 1 HP left on these things? So those gave me blood echoes. Let's double check this Celestial Emissary. Well, that didn't go as intended. Alright, absolutely none. Through me, right? Oh, okay. I do want footage of killing this with just the foreign stuff so I can get the communion rune without dying. Because the last time I did it on one of my playthroughs, I died as I killed the Celestial Emissary. So, here we go. This is a boss. It's the Celestial Emissary. It'll spawn a bunch of ads. The one in the middle is the real one. Oh, they die in one hit. That's the real one. I should have put on the air rune. Z. Oh no, I should have aggroed immediately. Oh, I killed it. Okay. Not the cleanest kill, sort of. But I mean, definitely much better than what I had before. We did it, guys. Leave the poor babies alone. The most epic boss fight in the game. Alive at 2:15, getting back from the bar. Welcome in, Foster and Matus. Grizkowiak? That guy may be mechanically connected to the boss, which may explain why you don't get any echoes from him. Yeah. I know in this version... Oh, I should have farmed to see, like, them spawn the blue-eyed... Oh, the boys don't disappear. I should have screwed around to have them accidentally spawn in some of the blue-eyed scourge beasts. That'd be funny / terrifying. Close enough to what I had on before. Alright. So, despite Foster and Matus, Medius, I'm sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce that very well. Popping in right now, this will conclude tonight's stream. We will go live again tomorrow at the same time, so that'll be 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all of you who want to participate. For all of you who've joined in so far, thank you as always, and all the lurkers, commenters, I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll catch you in on the next time. Take care, and have a good night.